All right, people, we are here for the power rankings of BHDL Season 8, the Champions Division. I am not alone. I am joined by my two fellow co-hosts here. Introduce yourselves, my friends.
It's your boy, also known as Brandon P, or some of y'all might know me as maybe Brandon P. I'm not really sure what you recognize me as, but I'm here chilling with, this other guy who just, begged us to be here. Maybe, maybe not.
I'm Zachmander. I may have begged a little bit, but I'm here because I played VGC before, so they trusted me to help rank the teams.
Yeah, not only that, this man has been in who knows how many draft leagues. So, with all of his experience, we're going to be exploiting that for our purposes here.
Yay!
All right, let's
I
get
can almost
into it,
guarantee
y'all.
you
Guarantee us what?
that however many draft leagues you think you've been in, you can multiply that by 5, and Zach has probably still been in more draft leagues than you.
I was going to say it's got to be close to 3 digits.
Probably is, probably. I don't count though, so
Yeah,
Well, at
I
this
mean,
point, you
at
kind
a
of
certain
can't.
point, you stop, you lose track.
yeah.
All right, so we're kind of gonna go in the draft order here, and our first team is going to be the Motor City Raikous, coached by Mr. Mag, newcomer to BHDL. Glad to have him. So right off the bat, we've got Mega Frostlass plus Talonflame, which is pretty solid. We've got the Prankster Tailwind. We've got access to Weather. We've got Fake Out Tinkaton. Tinkaton's an incredible Pokemon in both singles and VGC. It can do all sorts of stuff. The Clef with the Follow Me, it is a Mega Clefable, so it can't hold an item, but it is going to have some redirections. That's always a big positive. Reuniclus for Trick Room and Ally Switch shenanigans. Palafin is a powerhouse water type. You do have to switch them in and out, which because of VGC being shorter games does make it a little bit harder, but it's still a solid Pokemon with good priority. Kangaskhan for Scrappy Fake Out, always incredible stuff there, and Inner Focus to avoid Intimidate and being faked out itself. Liepard as their Prankster Pokemon. Prankster is in there's not that many of them, and there's 12 of us, so eventually they're all going to run out. So they did manage to secure a late round prankster Pokemon. Good for them. They've got Intimidate on Tauros Blaze. And Rodent Frost is kind of there. I guess it can be there with the Mega Frostlass and just kind of spam Blizzard together. They did still have 5 points remaining, so they didn't quite use up all their points. Some major detractions for this team, though, is that they do not have a ground type, which means that they're going to get Volt switched on. No poison type, but I guess that's not as big a deal as it is in singles because I don't anticipate them to be using T-Spikes. But if they did have them, then they can set them up versus this team and they won't be able to get rid of them unless they use Magic Bounce Clefable. Apart from that, though, I mean, they've got a decent... Well, actually, I mean, their speed tiers, it's interesting because they got two 100 base speed mons and 94, so they're a little bit clustered around there. 126 and 120, they do at least have some fast Pokemon there. I just wish there was a little bit more of a spread. And then the huge drop from 70 to 30 there for the Reuniclus. So it's kind of like you've got this Trick Room Pokemon in Reuniclus, but there's not a whole lot of other Pokemon to abuse it. I guess it's kind of just if the other mons are outspeeding you, then you can use Trick Room. So overall, I think there's some positives and cons about this team. Um, Kind of a average team, if I do say so. I mean, just in terms of there's not necessarily too many good things versus bad things to lean it one way or the other. Let me hear what you guys' thoughts are.
I think that Mega Frostlass is obviously a really good round one. It's a bit early since their first pick, but I think that very good mon. I like it with the Talonflame. My biggest issue I noticed with the team was, of course, they get kind of cooked by Trick Room,
Hmm.
and their special offense is kind of lacking. They have Mega Frostlass, Rotom, and Ryun, and I guess Clefable, but Clefable is like a hard support mon in my opinion, and Mega Clefable is fine at being a redirector. As someone who's drafted it, it's just been fine. I think that it is not preferred for redirection, but it's definitely solid at what it does, and it's better than having nothing. But I think the biggest problems with this team is the fact that Trick Room kind of smokes it. You're kind of forced to bring Reuniclus every week, and I don't think Reuniclus is that great to be bringing every week. but I do really like the Blizzard spam. But
Yep.
your main special offense is all ice types, so if the opponent has like a good steel type, then like luckily he has Tinkaton. Tinkaton would absolutely smoke every
Mhm.
special attacker on this team, but I think the special offense is lacking, and even the physical offense is like it's Palafin and Tauros and Kanga. Really, like Tinkaton's more of a support mon, Talonflame's more of a support mon, Lipar's more of a support mon. The offense is less there for me, but that's like my biggest problem with the team. It's just it doesn't feel that offensively threatening compared to what I'd expect from a team. But this is the first team, so maybe compared to other teams, it's not as bad as I think.
Yeah. What do you think, Brandon?
Um, I agree with a lot of the same points that Zach was making. Because like for example, the re-unique list, you kind of like you're not going to be using it in Trick Room. If anything, you're using it to reverse Trick Room, unless you're going to I don't know, try to. Because I mean, they have multiple ways to taunt things, but of course, a mental herb can fix that. So I don't think that's the most reliable way to stop Trick Room to begin with. So re-unique list, like Zach said, I don't. It's not a mon I would like to see come every week if I was the one who had this on my team. But my biggest critiques were also just the offense. Because for example, like Emerald mentioned earlier, Palafin, okay, you have to lead it and then you have to swap it out, which leaves that slot like that slot is vulnerable. So if like you have like a bad leader to your opponent, in regards to like the partner beside Palafin, then they may or may not feel the need to actually attack that mon. They can just double into that slot, and then whatever comes in is just a sitting duck, which is very unfortunate. And then I do think the immediate offense is also not that threatening, because even though I've never used Mega Frostlass, I know from facing it, like despite it having like what is it, base 140 special attack, despite it having that,
Yeah.
and I get that in doubles Blizzard, you know, it's a spread move, so it's going to do reduced damage because of the spread stuff. But even then, I just always feel like it's somewhat lacking. I don't know, maybe if I used it, I would have a different opinion. But when I faced it, I never really felt threatened offensively by it. And then when I look like down the rest of the team, it's like, okay, Talonflame, you're not the strongest thing. Tinkaton is kind of hard carried offensively by Gigaton Hammer, if we're being honest. Clefable is here to support, same for Ringyun for the most part. Palafin has its own gimmick. You get the idea. The further we move down, it's like I'm finding it hard to see like the like who's the mon that's gonna come out and then just start knocking things out left and right. Um, but I will acknowledge like a lot of these mons, like for example, Bulk Up Palafin, Nasty Plot Frostlass. Like you let these guys set up, they can be threatening, but then it's like, is your opponent gonna really let you do that to begin with? Um, but I do think the team is. I think highly of it defensively, though. I do think highly of it defensively, because you have like the Frostlass, like Aurora. Like if you put some of these mons behind Aurora Veil, like I could see how they could pair well with like the Palafin. Like we want to set the Palafin up. Tauros, Rotom, they could be very hard to remove if you have those screens up. So I can see like how this team could be very good defensively. But yeah, my only issues are the offensive aspects of it.
Right. You can see it by all the mons there in the chart that they have a lot of support moves, and but the offensive Pokemon, like you said, is pretty much just Mega Frostlass and Palafin. I mean, Mega Fable has 135 special attack, but I don't think they're going to be using Mega. I think they would much rather be using Mega Frostlass and setting up Veil and spamming Blizzards. So Mega Clef is kind of just there to remain in its normal form and follow me for the most part, anyways. But yeah. So where do we think in terms of putting this team in, from S to D?
To me, I feel like it's average, but without knowing what the other teams are on top of my head, I feel like B is safe. But
Yeah,
just
that's
me.
kind of what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, I think B as well, because I don't think it's S or A, but I also don't think it's C or D. Actually, I don't know if we even have a D tier this time, but I definitely don't think it's C or D.
We do, but we'll see it. Well, if there's actually a team that will be ranked D tier, unclear.
Yeah, like you have to really mess up.
No, yeah. I think Mag's team is very solid defensively, and I think the pieces can work. I love the Blizzard spam. A couple freezes could just change the game, but again, that's relying on RNG. So,
Yeah.
but Mag's a gambler, so I know he likes doing this type of stuff.
Oh, snap. They are missing quite a few types of juices. There's no, in addition to no ground or poison, there's no grass, there's no dragon. I mean, you don't really need bug or rock, but grass and dragon are kind of like those nice defensive typings.
Yeah, earthquake,
And
ground
I
is
do
really
just, and I do just have this one small critique when it comes to snow teams. I mean, I could be wrong about this team because I don't know the different move sets these guys get. But one thing I've never liked about snow in particular is, like, for example, with rain, sun, and even sand, you can always reset those weathers. I realize snow is kind of one of the harder weathers to reset because you kind of always have to swap the Frostlass out. But that's just like a little nitpick that I just dislike about snow. But that's just me. That's just me.
that's fair. Let me check
Yeah.
something.
Alright.
Oh, Lifeart does not get Snowscape. Rip.
Nah, really.
Like, the only thing that might get Snopescape is the freaking. Actually, Rotom probably doesn't because I don't think they add those kind of moves onto the Rotom. It's really just the Blizzard, right? So yeah.
Yeah,
usually,
Frostlass gets it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
it better.
not-
You better get
Not
it.
One
Yeah.
would hope. One would hope.
Hey, I like Snow personally, so I'm a little bit biased when saying I really like the Frostlass Rotom, but I think this team just needs some different offensive pieces. I feel like if you can get a better room mode or a better Trick Room resetter, or like something that can disable it, I think that would really help this team. Like, I think Ryun is not it.
Like, for example, I think like Meowstic is still on the board. Like, I mean, I know in Prison Trick Room is like the most basic and niche thing, but I'm just saying, like, I've done it plenty of times and it
Yeah, no.
almost
same.
always worked.
It's a solid strat, man. If you got it, if you can surprise your opponent with it. for
Yeah,
sure.
Meowstic is on the board.
Yeah.
There's also like other Trick Room reversers, like even Hatterene could be solid, but only 3 fairy types. But hey, fairy types are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's check out our next team here. We've got Brandon's team. Zach, why don't you start us off?
All right, so Brandon has drafted his Mega Mawile. He's been wanting this thing since it came to
Mhm.
the game, so can't really fault him there. And then he got an amazing support Trickermon in Oranguru. He definitely gives me the vibes that he wanted for Graph, and it got taken, so he wanted to really secure a good Trickermon. Guru is one of the best, and for 10 points, you can't go wrong. Instruct, play roughs are just going to go crazy. And then Brandon doing what he does best and drafting Rain in every single league. He gets Pelipper, really good Rain setter and good Tailwinder. And then he takes some starters in Meowscarada and Infernape. Meow's a good speed tier mon, good stash mon. Flower Trick's always nice, Crin through some of the setup mons. Infernape's an amazing fake up mon. I kind of slept on Infernape, but after seeing it in draft, it's actually a very solid, cheap fake up mon. Gets priority and good stabs. Valuable is an amazing Trick Room budget electric type. It's not the strongest out there, but don't sleep on Electromorphosis. This mon is quite scary in Trick Room and really helps against bulky water types. So that's really nice. Mega Dragonite, pretty solid in Rain. I'm not the biggest fan of Dragonite in general. I don't think it's that great of a mon, but I think that with Brandon's team, I think it pairs really well. He has good answers to ice types with Mega Mawile and Infernape, so I think that Mega D-Knight actually has its place. And it's also solid in the Rain, because he didn't really have a Rain mode. He kind of just has the Pelipper here. Ariados is good redirection. Cofagrigus is solid Trick Room and Ally Switch. And Mega Swampert's a Swift Swim one. Pretty solid Swift Swim abuser, but of course, kind of needs to Mega. So Brandon, I feel like, is going to have a tough time deciding what to Mega, as I don't think Mawile and Swampert are very good without their Megas. I think Dragonite is very solid without the Mega and with the Mega. Brandon's got one Fake Out Mon, that's fine. He's got some Tailwind. He has Redirection, which is really nice. He's got great Trick Room. And speed tiers are looking pretty fine. I don't like this 100 to 70 gap though. That's a big red flag for me. That's a big red flag. But he checks most of the boxes with the types on his team, which is good. But that speed tier gap is a bit rough.
Yeah. I feel like with this team overall, I mean, he's just got some very offensively potent mons. I mean, Mega Mawile plus Mega Swampert obviously are going to hit like a truck. Mega Dragonite and Rain can just be spamming Hurricanes and dropping Dracos, kind of. Although if you do drop some Dracos, then you're going to kind of be probably going to just be spamming Hurricanes and Thunders if you can. And Oranguru is a Pokemon I really do love with the Instruct. Zach, you hit most of the points already. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything left.
There's one thing. There's one thing.
What's
Sorry
that?
for. I will give Brandon some credit with the speed tiers. That regular Dragonite hits 80, and people will have to respect that in prep
Oh,
at least. But that speed gap is rough. But
I will say, I mean, apart from that, I mean, these other speed tiers, his lower ones especially, which makes sense because there's a lot of Trick Room mons. I mean, we got 30, 40, 45, 50, 60, 65, 70. So all those are nice and graduated. But yeah, if you count it as a Mega Dragonite, there is a big gap right there. But at least he does have the Meowscarada and the Infernape there to give him. If he wants to go Tailwind time, he's got Mega Swampert, Pelipper, Meowscarada to go Speedy mode.
Mega Maw works well in Tailwind 2 if you speed creep. So I mean, it's not the worst. But yeah, that speed gap is a bit rough. And I'm not a fan of the fact that most of the Megas are like, I don't think Swampert's great in base. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe base Swampert's great and it's great mon. But I think that Mawile and Swampert are going to be itching to Mega. I feel like it's going to be tough to decide what am I going to bring, but maybe that's just me. I'm sure I know Brandon has a lot of experience with the Rain and these 3 Megas. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
he's got
confident.
he's built a team with a lot of these mons. I've tried to use it, and I will say from experience, when I try to use it, I always have difficulty. Like, usually I always just Mega the Mawile if I can, but sometimes I Mega the Swampert. But I mean, Swampert in the rain, even in base form with Wave Crash, is still gonna hit pretty hard. You do just have to be a bit worried about Intimidate drops. Other than that, I mean, the Pelipper provides a lot of support with this team with both Tailwind and Wide Guard, and hitting decently hard with Weather Ball and Hurricane. Brandon, do you have any other points to make about this team that you drafted here?
Well, I shall be. Let me see. From the time everyone watches this, which I'm assuming is going to be within 24 hours of us posting this, I shall be posting a draft analysis about it probably within 24 to 48 hours after you see this. And if you want to see my thoughts on the team, it'll be there. The only thing I will say is, it's not even a counter argument. It is just me saying I do think that I don't think Swampert and Mawile are as locked into megas as people think they are. However, I do understand that with power rankings, we're not supposed to take player skill into account. But I'm just saying, from using Mawile, like, now granted, it's not ideal to not use Mawile with the mega, but there have been times where I've been on ladder and like I might have it beside because I don't even use Mawile on a team with Swampert anymore. I use it with Dragonite actually because of their defensive synergy,
That makes
as
sense.
well as like the wide range of things they can hit together. Because I actually prefer to run Weather Ball on Dragonite over Thunder actually, because Weather Ball also just does a lot of stuff.
Right.
But I will say Swampert, because before you Mega Evolve, you're at a base 60 speed tier. So regular Swampert in Trick Room actually does function pretty well. Now, it's not something Zach has used, so I don't expect him to have a high opinion of it. But I do think that regular base Swampert in rain, not base Swampert in rain, base Swampert in Trick Room is still pretty good because you're 60 speed, so you're at a speed where you can function kind of in Trick Room. But then you also have like base 110 attack with base, like really good bulk, you get what I'm saying? So it can hit pretty hard and still function without the Mega slot. Now, Mawile is a little harder to argue that about it not needing the Mega, but in my opinion, Dragonite and Swampert doesn't need it as much as some people would think. But that's kind of all I want to say. You guys can watch my draft analysis, and I'll be looking forward to it. Thank you, everybody. Is this a shameless plug? Absolutely.
Nice. All right, what do we think about ranking this team here? I am surprised. Because I'm looking at the averages, right, for like the attack stats, and I'm seeing 91 of the base attack, and I'm like, that can't be right.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, it's because it's not taking Mawile's huge power into account.
Yeah, this team is very offensively strong. Unlike the first team we talked about, this team has way more like major
lots of
offense.
potent
It's
threats.
defensively not as great as the first team, but I think in VGC that's more okay. You have enough solid defensive
Yeah,
pieces
I mean, you
anyway.
got Belly Bolt, Cofagrigus,
Even
Oranguru.
Oranguru, yeah. And like Mawil's decently bulky. Mega Dragonite's pretty bulky as long as you're not taking Ice Move. It's gonna take a hit just fine. And obviously Multiscale is super nice. Ariados is great redirection. How I see it, it's definitely better than the first team we talked about.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking like A territory.
I was thinking A, yeah. A makes a lot of sense. I'm fine with that.
All right, there we go. Moving on then to team number 3. We've got Zachmander, coach of the Canadian Ceruledges. Brandon, why don't you start us off?
You know, and speaking of Mr. Zachmander, I have to say one thing before I get into this team. I have to thank him for not knocking my because he has done this in previous power rankings where if I have points left over, he will dock my team for no other reason that I didn't spend all my points. And I have to say, Zach, I appreciate you for not doing that this time. I appreciate you.
Of course.
But this time around, let me see what we're working with. We're working with we have the Sun mode with the Mega Charizard Y, and then we follow it up with the Aerodactyl, giving us that you know, a really good tailwind. Actually, I would say Aerodactyl is probably the most solid tailwinder after, like, you know, Talonflame and Whimsicott, for example.
Yeah.
Which I really like with Charizard, because I know Charizard's main issue is you hit really hard, but you're also base 100 speed, so there's a lot of things. If they get rock coverage, they will revenge you, so I like seeing a good tailwinder with Charizard. He has the Sylveon, the Raichu, the Aegislash, the Krookodile, the Mega Starmie, the Weirdeer, the Victory Bell, and the Hydrapple. I'm a big fan of Sylveon plus Mega Zard Y. Like, if you play ladder, then you already know how dangerous that combination is, because you're not going to have something that wants to take a heat wave and a hyper voice at the same time. It's just not a fun time. Having the Raichu to support the Charizard is actually, if I'm being real, I think a lot of this team just looks like it was like made to help support Charizard as much as it can, because like you have the Sylveon who pairs well with Charizard. You have Raichu that gives you the Lightning Rod support that Charizard would want. Aerodactyl, already mentioned about the Tailwind support. And then I like that he has the Intimidate with Krookodile. I feel like for where we were in the draft, that's like one of the best, if not the only, Intimidate options you kind of had left. So I think really highly of that, especially since Charizard, I would say it's not really I mean, you still hit fire type. Like, a fire type doesn't want to take a heat wave from you, but at the same time you get it, they resist it. So I think having Crook and Aerodactyl to help deal with those matchups is really nice. And then we have the Mega Starmie, which I thought was very out of place at first. Until, I mean, I don't know if this is why he drafted it, but I'm going to go. My headcanon is, okay, you're going to play people who probably want to counter you with Rain. And then Starmie is just a way to maybe deter that a little bit, because this thing gets huge power. So those Rain boosted liquidations, yeah, you probably won't appreciate those if you try to counter this team with Rain. Something for me to think about, I guess. So then we have the Weirdeer. I don't really know what it does. I've
got
only ever
Intimidate
seen
and
it.
Frisk.
Like, like I know the abilities. It's just like move wise, roll wise.
Anti-Trick Room.
Oh, that's what Weirdeers are for. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you love to see it. Okay, so we have our anti-trick room guy. You know what, Weirdeer? I'm sorry for not knowing your game, bro. Like, I have to get used to you. Hopefully, I don't get like 8-0'd by this thing. If I play this guy this season, I would have preferred. And I have to say this, and I think even Zach was in the same boat. I would have preferred to see a Venusaur over a Victory Bell. If I'm being honest, I would be shocked to see Victory Bell come to games. But if he brings it to games and it does something, okay. Same for Hydrapple, because I don't really know what Hydrapple does in doubles. And
It's
I mean,
Pollen Puff to heal.
yeah. And I mean, I will say, like, Hydrapple and Victory Barrel, like, really, like, when I think of the things Charizard is weak to, I do like seeing them here, because it does help with, like I said, I feel like the team is really built to help support this Charizard. I think very highly of it offensively. Like, there's just a lot of damage potential in this from this team. Defensively, I don't know how to feel about the team, but that's more so because there are some mons I'm just not familiar enough with. So that's more so ignorance than me just thinking lowly of them. But what do you think, Emerald?
Yeah, I mean, Mega Charizard Y plus Aerodactyl. I mean, that's two of the top meta threats, at least during Reg MA. I love Sylveon, especially in doubles with the spamming Hyper Voice and be able to hit both. Raichu is the fake out Mon. Aegislash and Aerodactyl both get Wide Guard, which is nice in case they're having to block any other potential, what's it called, spread moves. I do like the Mega Starmie having, because a lot of the other Mons have a lot of like Mega Charizard Y and Sylveon are mainly like special attackers. So having that really solid like physical offensive threat is always good. And if we kind of think about them as like the spiritual successors to Terra Captains in the sense, the Megas, you kind of want to have one that's special and one that's physical at least to kind of lean into either one. So that's always nice. The Wordier, I think, could definitely do some stuff with either frisking the items is always useful. I don't know if they ever would have a reason to run Sap Sipper, but if they do, then it's there. Victory Bell and Hydrapple, two grass types to potentially avoid Rage Powder is cool. And obviously the Chlorophyll, imagine Chlorophyll plus Tailwind, man, they would outspeed everything. So, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of detractions I can particularly say about this team. They've got all the essential types. I mean, there's no ice or fighting type. I'm not sure that's entirely necessary. Although I guess having some stab fighting coverage would be nice, but that's probably on the near the bottom of your list of priorities here. Yeah, overall, pretty solid team. Zach, any other thoughts that we didn't bring up?
Yeah, you guys pretty much got it all. Victory Bell, Brandon, you're sleeping on it a little bit, man. It is a 3-point Sun Abuser. It is
For a 3-point Sun Abuser, yeah.
If you compare it to Venusaur, the stats are pretty similar. Like, I was shocked when I was like, whoa, why is Victory Bell kind of okay?
I didn't think that the damage would be that different.
Yeah, it's just the bulk. The bulk is significantly worse, and obviously, I would have loved to have a Venusaur, but Venusaur is 13 points for context, and Victory Bell is 3. So when budgeting this draft, I kind of knew in my head, I'm probably going to get Victory Bell because I want to stack up other threats. Like, I would have loved to have Aegislash for Wide Guard and to help against Rock types. I'd have loved to have Krookodiles for Intim. And Mega Starmie is just kind of there, yeah, to deter rain and be another option for my team. So I'm not fully reliant on Zard. Because I did have Blastoise before I made some changes to my team at Grace.
Right,
but
yes.
I felt like I needed like another Mega and another mode because I don't want to rely just on Charizard. But I felt like I supported Charizard well. But that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of ranking it, I mean, there's not a whole lot that I have to say that's wrong with that. So I feel like we're talking potential S tier territory here. What do you think, Brandon?
I would think so. Like either S or the highest in A, albeit we're only on team 3 at the moment, but one of those two for sure.
Yeah, I'll put in an S for now, and we can move it down depending, seeing how the other teams kind of compare. But I feel like this kind of gives us a good like distribution for now.
Because like my only because like I said, the only thing I disliked was the freaking But I get it. Zach went bankrupt during the draft and had to make some tough decisions. It happens to all of us. It happens.
I mean, even then, I mean, in some of these lower point Mons, they still have some good utility with them, so I don't think it's that bad.
I love Weirder. Weirder is such a... I mean, I'm biased, but I'm going to say I love Budget Intim. Budget
Did they buff Psyshield Bash or something like that? Or does it still
I'm pretty sure they did.
There was something, I can't remember what it was.
I think they gave it 90 base power instead of like 80 or something.
I think so. Something like that.
Yeah. Weirder just gets moves.
Yeah. He's going to do some stuff. All right, let's check in on our number 4 team, my buddy Rick Star over here. This is his first draft league, so let's give him a little bit of grace here with this team. So we've got Mega Floette, one of the strongest Megas that everybody on Twitter loves to complain about because it's locked behind Legends EA. We got the Golden Go, always very solid to just deny any source status. Immune to fake out. I mean, you do a lot of stuff in general. Incineroar, top tier threat with the fake out over here and Intimidate, parting shot. Rotom, solid, the universal lead, some might call it, being able to just volt switch in and out, burn stuff. Mega Kanga, who's probably going to mainly be in its base form to allow the Mega Foot to Mega Evolve, but who knows. If it doesn't Mega Evolve the first turn, you can Scrappy Fake out still, like before. Vileplume is going to come in with that Torkoal to allow for some after use strats with the Chlorophyll. And Bastiodon there for wide guard, sturdy, although there's no Terra, so this I used to use this mon a lot more in Scarlet and Violet sometimes with Terra, and just as a wide guard body press Pokemon, but doesn't have that luxury here in Champions. Ditto is going to be doing Ditto things, probably just going to be a Choice Scarf mon to copy the opponent's Mega, so you have to watch out for that. Torkoal going to set up the sun, like I already said. And Fortress is, I don't know what this Fortress, I guess he's just going to Volt Switch pivot and out. He's Overcoat, so he's immune to like Rage Powder, and so their powder moves unless you're unsturdy. So there's a good chunk of strengths is already listed for this team, but there's quite a few weaknesses as well. So no ground type, so you can Volt Switch all over this team for free. There's no flying type either, so there's not really, well, you do have a Rotom with Levitate, but apart from that, everything is going to be hit by Earthquake on this team, which sucks. They have 3 steel types, which is kind of crazy. The Golden Go, the Bastiodon, and the Fortress. So just kind of a bit of a type imbalance here overall. While they spent a lot of their mons up front. This is a very top-heavy team. They have 1 point Bastiodon and 1 point Fortress. But they do at least have some weather to be able to work with. There's no Follow Me, there's no Redirection, there's no Tailwind on this team, which is tough. There's no Trick Room either. So their speed control is very much lacking here, unfortunately. But at least they do have 2 solid Fake Out mons. Yeah, the strength of this team is pretty much in like the top 5, and these other mons just kind of it's like Vileplume and Torkoal after use strats. Apart from that, there's just a lot more to be desired from this team. Although they do have some top meta threats, I think for a draft. There's an infamous saying, and I bet if you watch the other Scarlet and Violet video, you should do take a shot every time you hear Beanard say shallow. Because this team is definitely feeling a little bit shallow. You're probably going to see the same mons week to week. Apart from that, though, what are we thinking over here, Brandon?
Honestly, you took the words right. You kind of took the words right out of my mouth towards the end there, because I also think like the first 5 are amazing. Like these are well, I was gonna say these are mons you would see on ladder. You don't really see Kangaskhan as much, and Mega Floette is kind of, in my opinion, fallen off a bit since Mawile and Swampert in particular have came back, because I feel like you get the idea. I'm not gonna get too in detail on that, but then the last 5, they are I would respect the Torkoal a lot more if they had Trick Room. But like you said, they do have the after you game they can go for with the Vileplume. But even then, I feel like to an extent you can kind of exploit that by either A, just running like just counter weathering this team, or B, you can like if the whole thing is to after you into for the Torkoal. From what I've seen, if Torkoal's not clicking Eruption or Lava Plume, it's not really doing remarkable damage to anything. So to me, Torkoal's one of those mons. If you have Wyguard on your team, you're kind of going to just shut it down to where it can't do anything except for click. Well, the only moves you really click are Earth Power and Solar Beam if you're not clicking Eruption. So I just don't. I don't like Torkoal. I personally don't like Torkoal outside of Trick Room, and I also don't like it when I just feel like it's easy to shut down. Like you said, the first 5 they probably have to bring every week, because these last 5, like you said, I don't know what Fortress does in VGC. I've never seen a Fortress in draft. I've never seen a Fortress on ladder. I honestly don't know what it does. Ditto, from what I've seen, typically you just try to. It's kind of the same thing we do like some people do in Ubers, like DRVR did back in season 5. You draft the Ditto, and then you want to try to copy the Mega or copy the Terra Captain in our case, back then. But I feel like that is too. I feel like it's whenever I face Ditto in draft, I feel like it's always easy to kind of take a gander at what it probably wants to copy, and then you can just run a Pokemon to counter that. So I don't think Ditto's reliable. Maybe he can show me something with Bastiodon. I feel like, if I'm being, this might sound crazy, but out of these bottom 5, I feel like Bastiodon is the one that has the most potential because you're the one I know the least about. So you have the highest ceiling in my eyes, but I don't think too highly about the other 4. I do think his first 5 picks were very solid, but and I think Zach can get what I think he already knows what I'm about to say about this. To me, this is a very Zachmander singles-ish team because my friend here likes to draft these super top-heavy teams, but then when you get to these bottom picks, sometimes you're on a budget, so you don't want to go bankrupt, and I feel like that's what happened here a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't want to yap too much. What do you think, Zach?
Uh, top 5 is crazy, and then you're drafting shit to draft shit. Like, why is like Brandon said, Bastiodon is the best of these bottom 5. Bastiodon at least provides wide guard. It's actually decent. I don't think the Sun mode makes sense here at all. I don't like the Torkoal Biofilm. I feel like we have these 14 points on this Torkoal. I feel like we should be supporting our top 5, and instead we're building a whole entire different mode. And if we're using this entire different mode, then we're not bringing our Kangaskhan, we're not bringing our Goldango, Instant, or Rotom. And these
Right.
are like key pieces of the team. I think a ground type would be super nice since we have a Rotom and Floette in my opinion, it's mandatory to have a ground type on a Floette team because those are the best ways to break steals and poisons. And if you don't have that, then luckily Instant and Goldango support Floette well. I think Rotom Wash is a great partner. I think Kanga is great, but these bottom 5, okay, Bastiodon I could give a pass to, and sure, Fortress is a 1-pointer. You could have done better, but it's a 1-pointer. Can't really get mad at that. Even Ditto is fine, but this Sun mode does not need to be here at all. I think it knocks down the team for me a lot. Where this could have been an easy S tier team, and now to me it's like a low A B tier team because of this lacking 5. That if you fix this, this could be S tier easily with this top 5.
Interesting.
The
Okay.
speed tiers too are just they're fine. They're fine.
Well,
tailwind
his fastest Pokemon is only 102. That's kind of a bit slow for me, especially factoring that they don't have Tailwind.
Yeah.
I mean, the lower tier. I mean, he's got a lot of good mons for Trick Room, but there's no Trick Room mon to abuse it.
He's missing major fundamentals, and when you're missing major fundamentals, that's like a D tier for me. But
Yeah,
seeing
no
that he
problem.
actually
That's
has
why
good
I was.
pieces,
Yeah,
since
I
he
was
has good
thinking like C
pieces,
or B.
I like
I
B.
I like C as well. Because when Zach said B, the first thought that went through my mind was, you're being way more generous than I am. I feel like the top 5 carry this team hard enough that we
They
couldn't
do, yeah.
put it in D. But I
Yeah.
do think D is because it's like half the team is really good and the other half is. I wouldn't say the other half. I don't think the Mons are bad, in them of themselves. I just don't think they benefit the team as much as some other options might have.
Right.
Yeah.
Alright, I think that's fair. I mean, my buddy Rickstar here, he's a very solid VGC battler. He's kind of used the top 5 on his own team, so he knows how to use them. But in terms of just on paper draft, it's looking tough out here. But we'll see how he does. We'll see if he can make the
I have
team
faith
work.
in him. I think that top 5 will carry him many games, but
Yes.
the bottom 5, I like drafting top heavy, so I love seeing a team like this, but you need to draft the correct bottom pieces, and it's difficult because you really need to look down in these lower tiers. Brandon knows I do that all the time, and he's like, "What are these Pokemon?" I'm like, "Trust me, they're good."
Just trust me,
Rotom?
bro.
And it doesn't
like-
help that in doubles, I feel like in singles, right? Even if you get sniped off of for a lack of better words, let's say roll. If you get sniped off of a roll in singles, for the most part, I feel like you can somewhat always find a replacement. Maybe not a replacement as good as what you initially wanted, but you can maybe find something, right? I feel like in doubles in particular, though, at least in draft, if you get sniped off of a roll, like a tailwind or a fake out, boy, replacing those bonds can be so hard sometimes.
Yeah,
Agreed.
And it,
for sure. All right, let's check out our next team over here, which is going to be Rolder, coach of the Down Under Krookodiles over here. Brandon, why don't you start us off? Or oh, wait, I think it's Zach's turn actually. Yeah,
It's my
Zach
turn?
start us
Okay,
off.
I can talk about this. Hell yeah. Okay, so we got Sinisha round 1. I will admit, this is definitely a bit early, but Sinisha's a great mon, so I can't, like, fault him too hard for this, but I like drafting a more offensive Pokemon, but that's how I draft. I think having a really good support mon round 1 is nice. And then we're immediately getting a Sand mode, which I do like. I do prefer Mega Tyranitar to regular T-Tar. I think being able to reset the sand by just clicking your Mega button is huge for the team. And then we're getting a Mega Venusaur, who, yep, solid with this team overall, but something feels wrong. But maybe that's just me looking at it right now. Mega Pyroar is a very solid Mega. I don't think you support it that well. I feel like Mega Pyroar wants like a prankster weather Pokemon, and I don't see that at all on this team. We're round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're round 6ing Altaria. It's a choice.
Cloud9.
No. That's a choice. We have a sand team. There's Gyarados.
Wait, if you want to cancel out the other person's weather.
Gyarados is solid Intimidate. I actually don't hate it on this like sand team at all, but it's good. You can Earthquake with Excadrill near it. That's cool. Glade is like a solid wide guard and decent attacker, but yeah, it's mainly used for like wide guard.
Yep.
Malamar is here.
They like Malamar.
my friend Malamar.
Malamar is fine. It's people have been trying to prove to me it's not a fraud, so it's fine. I'll give people credit. It's fine. And then Orthworm is Shed Tail, and you have 12 points left. Roller, you're
Yeah,
pulling a
12
Brandon.
points. I know. That's what I'm saying. They needed to fix some of this in Grace.
Like, I get if you have 5 points or 4 points. I understand the budget and like, okay, there's sometimes a mon you needed 3 points compared to 8 points. But in Rolder's case, this team feels like severely underpowered. No fake out. You don't have. Oh, you have Altaria for Tailwind, but do we really count that? They have mid Tailwind. The speed tiers are not speaking to me. You get cooked by Trick Room. I don't like this team.
You do at least have anti-Trick Room and Sinister. And Glade if you want that.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like
no Trick Room mode for yourself, really.
Yeah, you're missing. I don't know. This team does not synergize well to me. I don't see it.
It was in this moment that I realized his speed tier literally goes from. This might be
126 to 88.
This is worse than mine. Hold on.
Okay, well.
Oh, buddy.
Now I will give. Dang it. Okay, but since y'all gave me a pass on this, I'm gonna also give Excadrill a pass on this. If the sand is up, you get double speed. But but that's still just.
Oh, that's that like it's the raw.
But then your speed tier drops still from 126 to 81. Then.
Oh my god.
And it's mega reliant speed tier on a mega that has to mega to be viable. It has to mega. Regular Pyro. I love Pyro, but you are fucking garbage. So you're mega. You have to mega that one. Venusaur on this team. I don't know where we're getting Sun from, but that guy's gonna want a mega.
But I think the Venusaur is probably more so here to help deal with like bulky waters and grass types that Excadrill and Tyranitar might struggle into.
We already have a Sinister for that.
Brandon, we have one.
We do.
We have the best grass in the game.
Well, listen, maybe he wants to use the Sinister for support and use the Venusaur for.
Okay,
I don't know. I'm trying to throw straws here, bro. I'm trying. I'm really
trying.
trying.
He's trying to help him out, bro.
Okay, brother. Okay, man. So I already know where this team is going. I don't even need to talk about it anymore.
I think.
Where's it going, Zach?
It's going into the D'est of D's.
Oh, poor Rolder, man. I'm sorry, buddy, but yeah.
No, it is that bad. It is
12 points. Yeah, I know. At least he always got no fairy type, bro.
Dude, Venusaur is literally here to be a float check. That's the only reason I see ever justifying this mon ever coming to a game. And that float team is a Goldango and an Incineroar, so good luck, buddy.
Now, To be fair, both of those mons lose to freaking Tyranitar. But even then, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like you. I would prefer to see a Mega T-Tar over the Mega over the Mega Pyroar. I'll give him the like. It's like I can't spare you when it comes to the rankings, right? But I can spare him in the sense that I know he just really wanted to use the Mega Pyroar. Like he really wanted to use it, but I do agree that he didn't build the best team to support. Like it just looks like it's there. Like you're just there, and yeah, you're just there.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's
I
kind of
mean, I
messing with me
feel
a
like
little bit.
these top three, I mean, Sinistcha, Extra Tyranitar are great mons, but then, yeah, after that, it kind of just like, I mean, the Mega Venusaur and Mega Pyro don't really gel with that, and that makes it tough when those are your two Megas, and they're not gelling with your other core, you know? It's like, on paper, a lot of these mons are solid, but then it's kind of like they're not fitting together. So, yeah,
Synergy. The
I guess
synergy
I'm
is
gonna
not
have to,
there.
yeah. Sorry,
Listen,
buddy, but we're gonna have to do it to you. But hey, prove us wrong. Prove us
yeah.
wrong in the season.
Just don't 8-0 me in freaking week 4, I think it is. Yeah, don't 8-0 me,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, I will say he has one good thing about this team, which is that he doesn't have any red in the type chart. So let's at least give him credit for that.
I'm not giving him credit for
Because, Zach is the kind of person, you know what? The ground section could be red from top to bottom, but you know what? We're still fine. We're fine.
You have a
Fair
regular
enough.
Rotom, that's all you need, okay?
Yeah, you just need the one. All right, let's check out in on our buddy Al over here, coach of the Athabasca Miltanks. Brandon, why don't you start us off?
Okay. Mr. Abomination has drafted Megalopony, the Clefable, the Hydreigon, the Arcanine. I know how to actually say it, but hey, listen, if you know ball, you know it's pronounced Arcanine. We have the Rotomo, the Basque Legion female, who I've been using in another league that I'm participating in, and I think very highly of that Pokemon. We had the Mega Electros, so new toy syndrome. Love to see it. The Zoroark Sui, the Alakazam, and last but not least, the Corviknight. If I'm being honest, because I know we just got done talking about Rolder's team, right? I would have really preferred to see this Corviknight on that team than this team, but that's not me nitpicking out. That's just me saying it's me seeing the random Corviknight and just wishing that it was on the Sand team. But so when it comes to the team, I have very mixed feelings. So I'm going to reference the guide I have been using this whole time to try to figure out how I feel like the team should
Show
be.
us your criteria, sir.
So the things I'd be looking at is like I've been looking mainly at like 5 things. One of those things being intimidate, another one of those things being redirection, another one being fake out. The 4th thing being speed control, whether it's Tailwind or Trick Room, and the 5th thing is just modes. Like, are you just like locked into being, a Sun team, or do you have like Sun with Trick Room, and then like maybe a mode that doesn't rely on either one of those, right? So when I look at the Intimidator, we have the Arcanine, who, okay, even though, and I'm only saying this because I don't want Al to get like the wrong opinion, because me and him got into a debate about Arcanine before. I want to remind you, I do not think highly of this Pokemon in singles. I think very lowly of it in singles. If I'm being honest, I think the Hisuian version is always better. But in a doubles context, I actually think the mon is pretty solid. Like, there's a reason. Like, I'm just saying, we all know that Incineroar is considered like one of the best mons ever. And
Yeah.
for a while, if you weren't using Incineroar, you would probably use Arcanine, which I feel like speaks very big of it. So, as regards to Intimidate, I like it. In regards to redirection, we have the Clefable, which I also think I think highly of it as a redirector, especially for the Megalopony, for example, which is a really hard hitting Pokemon. I've used this mon in a draft recently. And it was my kill leader. This thing hits ridiculously hard. You just struggle into fairy types. But in regards to everything I can think of Megalopony being weak to, I feel like Clefable is a really good redirector for it. And if I'm being real, Megalopony typically still can 2-shot fairies. You're just not one-shotting any of them. So getting that extra turn to maybe get that done, that's really nice. In regards to the fake out support, Lopunny, we've been talking about this. That's literally what you do.
Scrappy
You're a
fake
fake
out.
out. That's what I'm saying. Which, oh yeah, as a matter of fact, that kind of just boosts it up for me, because these ghost types, I think they're safe. Oh, you're actually not as safe as you think you are. Then he has the tail. Actually, he has double tailwind because he has Hydreigon and he has Corviknight.
Corv.
But in general, he has speed control though because he has the Rotom that can maybe be Scarf and just spam Electro Web. Um, I'm not sure if he has a Trick Room user. Not that he needs it on this particular team. He's very fast. I'm pretty sure Alakazam would probably get it. The
Yeah,
Trick Room. The only
Alakazam
reason I'm
gets
bringing
it.
so I think it's nice for Alakazam to be able to reverse Trick Room. And then in regards to modes, I feel like he can do quite a bit with this team because Lopunnies are really hard hitting Mega. It's really strong. But then he also has the Mega Electros that, even though it's question marks here, we know now that it
Elevate.
gets Elevate. Yeah, which is basically just Levitate and Beast Boost into one. So depending on what offensive stat he wants to invest into, like if you can't remove that Mon, it can get out of hand. And he does have good redirection. He has good speed control. And in general, I do think he has really good offense. And I still haven't gotten to the fact that he has a Zoroark Isui on here. And I don't know how he would use it, but from what I've seen with it, if this thing is in the hands of someone who knows how to pilot it, that Mon can just be very annoying to deal with. Um, in general, I think highly of Al's team, but what are your opinions, Emerald?
Yeah, I think you hit a lot of the good points already. I do like that Zoroark because it's just kind of like you can lead off with it, right? And then your opponent doesn't know, and you can make him think it's something obvious that you would want to fake out, like Clefable, so you can stop it from following. But oh no, guess what? I'm a Zoroark, and now you're getting hit. They do have a lot of good utility, like we already said. It doesn't look like anything has wide guard, and it could be wrong because the dock isn't fully updated, but I don't think that there's a wide guard mon. We do have full green on the coverage, which they said that they wanted to get, although in spite of that, they are missing some key types. Like, once again, I don't know what it is, but there's no ground type. So, spam Volt Switch on this, man. No poison type either. That might not be as necessary. I don't really care about bug or rock types. Like, those are probably fine not to get. Ice types even not fully necessary. The Basculegion female is interesting, right? Because Basculegion male is one of the top tier mods, and it's like 18 points or something. Obviously, because you have Wave Crash and Last Respect, so you're gonna have to use the special side. But with adaptability, I think you can still hit decently hard. You have Mold Breaker on there to bypass Sturdy and stuff, although I don't even think anybody drafted Mimikyu. But if they did, then this thing could just ignore Disguise, which is cool. Um, Overall, just a lot of utility, a lot of solid, hard hitters. The speed tiers 135, 120, 110, 98. Pretty solid speed tiers. Not really too many weaknesses with this team overall. What do you think, Zach?
This team looks like a singles team. Like I look team looks amazing if it was like a singles team, but in doubles, I like a lot of the mods. I feel like Mega Lop, it's a good mod. Brandon was glazing it. I don't think it's crazy. I think it's a fine Mega. I don't think it's a round one, and I kind of hate that Mega Lopunny is kind of our main attacker. I'm not personally a big fan of that. I kind of wish we had a higher point attacker. Like, for example, if we got a Sneasler or a Garchomp round one instead, I felt like that would have been, like, a Sneasler here would have been amazing. That would have been a perfect mod for this team. But, hey, picked up Blop. I respect it. Clefable, amazing redirector. I like the Hydra. I really hate that there's no ground type because we have, like, 3 Levitate mons. We have so many ground immunities and no Earthquaker that can just, like, abuse it. I don't like that we have Mega Eel and Rotom-Mow on the same team. They basically do the same thing. So you're basically just wasting.
I know he sniped me off the Mega Eel.
Yeah, he wasting 7 or 8 points on one of these mons. It doesn't really make sense. I do like the core for the Tailwind, but we do have a Hydra that also kind of does the same thing. I feel like we just have a lot of mods that kind of do similar things. And when I see this team doesn't scream super offensively scary to me. I might be sleeping on Lopunny, but I think that our strongest attacker is Basculegion, and even then, it's not super strong because it's not the male form, but Last Respects is obviously broken. I kind of wish we built a little bit more around that. I kind of wish we had a better, like, I wish we had a Prankster Mon on this team, like a Mega Sableye or a Mega Meowstic would have been, like, a really nice option to support Basque Legion and support Basque in general. I think having Prankster screens would be really nice, but that might just be me. I do like the Zoroark. His Trick Room doesn't really like Zam is anti Trick Room. It's cool, but this team does not like Trick Room. But he has like amazing defensive pieces. I think Owl's games are going to be very slow because everyone's going to have a hard time breaking core of Arcanine, Clef, even Electros and Rotom. But I think that this team offensively is a tiny bit lacking. I think it's still a very solid team, but I think it's lacking a little bit to me anyway.
Yeah, I mean, he's
Yeah.
got, I mean, there's only like 3 Follow Me Mons, and 2 of them are basically the same Pokemon, Mega Clef and Clefable. So, I mean, Clefable, Corv, Arcanine, all these very, like, defensive pieces that are kind of like just going to be healing up, and you do wish that, I mean, Mega Electros has a higher physical attack stat than Mega Lopunny, right? But it prefers to run special attacks because it has so much special coverage. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. And of course, if they do Mega the Electros, then Mega Lopunny is just, or it's stuck in its regular form. It's just kind of like, well, what are we doing now?
Yeah, both the Megas, pre-Mega, aren't great. Electros is more serviceable, but
Yes, for sure.
Lopus, to me, I mean, I might be jumping the gun, but to me, this is like similar to Mag's team. Like, if I'm comparing it to anything.
Kind of like a B tier team, you think?
Yeah, it's kind of like very good defensively, but the offense is kind of lacking. I think that they're very comparable in that sense.
I think with his support, I think it does put him a little bit above Mag's team, probably like top of B, because he does have a lot of good stuff. I think, like you said, it's just missing the power, but you're still gonna have a hard time breaking him.
Yeah, the support's
Right.
amazing. The support's S tier to me, but
And
offense.
I do think you're slightly okay. I would put this like above Mag's team, but I do think you're slightly sleeping, Zach. I do. Um, I would put it above Mag's team because I do feel like it's more offensive. I think I have a higher opinion on the offense than y'all do. There's nothing wrong with that. Cause like I said, I've used Megalopony, so I do think very highly of it offensively. Now, granted, when I drafted Megalopony, that was my round 4 pick, not my round 1 pick. But I do know that Al picked it round 1 because it was him and one other person who've been talking about Megalopony for the longest, and he was just sitting here like he just knew in his mind like, okay, there's no way this mon gets it back to me. It's kind of like with me and Cinderace in singles, so I kind of respect it because I do it all the time. But using Lopunny and using Basque Legion female, I do think very highly of their offensive capabilities. But I just feel like people don't give them enough of a chance to showcase that. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. And I also do think highly of okay, Zach, don't call me a fraud for this, but I do think highly of Hydreigon's offensive potential as well as the Mega Electros and the Zoroark. However,
I
I
think
do
the
agree
special
that
for sure on this team is gonna hit pretty hard.
and I think Lopunny, because when I think of the things that when I think of the things that certain like you know Basque Legion or Hydreigon or Zoroark might not be able to touch, to me Lopunny has the cup. Basically, the way I look at Lopunny is it's a normal type, so it's gonna have like a lot of coverage, right? And I do feel like if it can touch something super effectively, you're probably dead. And that's just my opinion of it. And I haven't seen Electros. I don't know what to think, but I do think, but I do agree with Zach said that Electros is more serviceable without its Mega than Lopunny is. So Lopunny, realistically, you'll never use it without the Mega, but Electros, you could maybe get away with it. But even then, you would probably want to Mega it. And I do agree, Electros and Rotom do kind of do a lot of the same. Like, of course, utility-wise, they're vastly different in my opinion, but they do a lot of the same stuff, like offensively. I didn't really think of too much about that earlier. But yeah, I would put this in B, but above Mags, because I do feel like this team
Yeah,
has a
that's where
lot
I've
more to
got it,
offer
Oh, I agree.
offensively.
I agree.
All right,
Yeah.
so cool. We're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
Fairly solid, but could just use a little bit of room for improvement
Yeah.
there. All right, let's check out our next team over here. We got Twisted Games, coach of the Chicago Boltunds. So I'll start us off here. So they got Mega Metagross. I thought about picking up this mom, but they were right before me. But I was like, all right, I got a backup, so it's fine. So obviously this thing hits super hard. Even though its moves aren't necessarily the strongest, like Psychic Fangs, although it's a lot better than Zen Headbutt. which you used to have Meteor Mash. You don't have access to Heavy Slam anymore, which is unfortunate. You don't have access to Knockoff either. But even so, with Tough Claws, this thing is going to hit super hard. Also, I mean, 150 base defense is even higher than its attack. So, just, I mean, all the base stats in this Pokemon is just incredible and makes sense because it's a Mega Pseudo. So great first pick. Mousehold with the Friend Guard, Follow Me, is going to be very good to pair with this Mega Metagross and allow it to just keep hitting hard while the Focus Sash Mousehold is sitting there for at least a turn or so to give space for this Metagross to go in. We've got Primarina over here, which can spam Liquid Voice, Hyper Voices. Water Fairy is one of the best defensive types you can have. Great special attacker to have. You got regular Scrafty, which usually is not thought of very highly in singles, but in VGC at least, even though it's not reflected here, I'm pretty sure it has Fake Out and also has Intimidate, so two good things to have. We got Houndstone plus Mega Tyranitar, so because Rolder left the lane open here for Twisted Games, they got the Mega Tyranitar, so they're going to be free to reset the weather and get the sand back for Houndstone over here, who can use Last Respects, so watch out for that. And it also has, it's not listed here, but I'm pretty sure Houndstone has Ally Switch. That's another cool option it has. Alcremie over here is their Fairy type, pretty solid, high SPDF. It can use Decorate to easily power up its ally. I believe it's like, is it +2 to attack and special attack or something like that? So very powerful. Noivern is the Tailwind Pokemon, very fast, very solid. If you can't have a Prankster Tailwind Mon, or some sort of priority Tailwind, you can at least have your Tailwind Mon be super fast. And it also has Frisk, so you can tell the items. Infiltrator is also there too if you anticipate your opponent to use screens a lot. And then we got Slowbro Galar, which is kind of like your anti-Trick Room Mon, or it can also use Trick Room itself. Quick Draw, Own Tempo, so you don't get confused. I know there's some strats that people would use Flatter with, but I'm not sure if that's going to apply here or not, but you can always use Regenerator too. And Mr. Rhyme can just automatically... I want to see this thing come in and use Screen Cleaner, because I always see this ability, and I always wish that more Mons get it. I would love to see this Mon just come in and remove the opposing screens. And it also has access to Fake Out. Now, if we take a look here at the type chart, this man has like 5 weaknesses, which, you know, you can probably, if you have like 2 or 3, like, it's not as big of a deal. But 5, I mean, we're weak to some very common stuff here. We're weak to Ghost, we're weak to Fairy, we're weak to Ground. We, again, do not have a Ground type ourselves. We don't have a Fire type. So that's a little bit tough there. Overall, I think they've got some solid cores. They've got some solid modes. There's just a few little weaknesses here and there. Speed tiers, we got the Noivern 123, Mousehold 111, Metagross 110, but then we drop all the way down to 71, and that's a Mega Tyranitar, so that's after it gets a speed boost. And then from there, all the other speed tiers are just below 70, which I guess is not too bad, right? Because now you've got like the top 3 kind of are super fast, but then everything else is super slow. You do have some Trick Room Mons there to abuse the Trick Room in a way. I just wish, I guess, that we had a few more than like that, maybe like a 90 or a base 100 or even an 80, because there's a steep drop off there. But overall, decent Mons. What do we think here, Zachmander?
I told Twisted this. I'm gonna say it here. I don't like that he went the sand direction. I think he had a great top 4. And instead of building around the Metagross more, which I feel like you should be doing because it's a Mega Metagross, this Mon is crazy. He instead built a whole new mode, which is fine, but I mean, I'm probably disrespecting Houndstone. He told me I'm disrespecting Houndstone, that I don't think Houndstone is crazy. Last Respects is what it's got going, but any normal type will shut it down. I love the Noivern. I think the Noivern is an amazing pick. We have 7 points left. I dislike that. I just think that Mega Metagross, Mousehold, Prim, Scrafty, and Noivern are all great. I like Mr. Rhyme. I think Mr. Rhyme's an amazing budget mod. Brandon and I are Mr. Rhyme glazers, so if there's a Mr. Rhyme on a team, we're gonna mostly like it. Glowbro is like an annoying Tricker mod, and of course Alcremie is like a good support, but like I like the Alcremie with the Metagross. I feel like the speed tiers are a major issue. That's not great. We do have like decent trick room mons. I wouldn't say the greatest. I think Glober was pretty good at it though. Mr. Rhyme isn't really like the best trick room, but it's serviceable. I just think that the sand mode doesn't really make sense. We're missing a ground type, which I think, in my opinion, ground types are mandatory in VGC. That might just be me. In Champions, I feel like ground types are so strong that even a budget ground type like Diggersby or Mamo are just really solid. Let me check if Diggersby's on the board, for example. Like Diggersby is 4 points, and that's like an amazing budget ground type.
Diggersby though.
Yes, Diggersby.
Diggersby though.
I will
Super
say from
solid.
using it, it hits really hard, bro.
It
No,
is
no, I
so
know, I know.
strong.
Huge power. Love to see it.
Yeah, and even like Rhyperior is like a solid ground type as well. I just think that this team with a bit of remodeling can really be good, but I just don't think you built around your Metagross enough, and I think as good of a mon as it is, you should be building around it. Because Mega Metagross is, I mean, I just drafted in the league, and okay, I'm a little bit biased because I had a really good week 1 game, but I think that if you have the correct pieces around it, it just kills everything. It is so strong and it's so bulky, and especially in draft where you can mess around with the EVs and make this mon a bulky monster. Like I love it with the mouse hold, but I kind of just wish we had a little bit more for it instead of building this like sand mode that I don't think really synergizes well with your Metagross mode. Like it's a good 2-mon mode, but I don't know. I just don't see the vision. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't really see the vision because I feel like you want to bring Noivern with the Metagross a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you want to bring the Metagross, Mousehold, Prim, Scrafty, and Noivern every week. Like they're very solid. But then like the sand mode is kind of here, and you're dropping one of your like core mons. I don't really like that. I feel like I don't know this. It's a twisted team. There's some flaws, but I think it can work. But I just think there's too many flaws for me to rank it higher than B, and even then, it's pushing it for me.
What do you think, Brandon?
I definitely. Okay. I'm kind of in this. I'm in a rock and a hard place in a sense, right? Because I don't think. I mean, this is how I feel about the sand mode, right? I'm not 100% sure if I feel like it has a place here, but I have to disagree slightly in the sense that because Zach said he doesn't feel like it synergizes with the rest of the team, and I feel like it can actually, because Tyranitar, for example, is one of those megas that, in my opinion, you can opt to not mega it and still get value out of it. Matter of fact, Zach knows that better than most because I remember I played a game with him recently where he had a mega Tyranitar and just didn't use it because he wanted to use the mega on something else. And I think Tyranitar, I mean, it's a pseudo. Like, it can get away with not having to click the mega button, and I feel like having that's like, I don't think you would bring the Metagross and not mega it, but I think you can bring the Tyranitar and not, and then, with the damage output from the Metagross, while the team is also taking Sandstorm chip, that is going to add up very fast. And I do think more highly of Houndstone than Zach does. Like, sure, you don't get adaptability like Basque Legion does, so your last respects aren't going to hit like as anywhere close to as hard. But at the same time, if this is the last thing around, that is still a base 200 move stab coming off a mon with 101 attack, which isn't like nothing to write home about, but that's very serviceable for like late game shenanigans, right? And I do think Houndstone in sand with Tyranitar and Metagross can be deadly for the simple fact that, one, you can burn like because like most of the things that threaten these mons in my, like, when I think about it, are like physical attackers, so you can just burn those and try to help mitigate damage from those. And then something else about Houndstone, if I'm not mistaken, it does get the move Howl, which if you're boosting up Tyranitar and Metagross while your opponent is struggling to take hits from those mons, once again, that damage is going to add up very, very fast. And because of the Sand Rush, you're going to Howl before they attack anyway. So you're basically always doing a lot of damage, in my opinion, especially with Tyranitar, because you can Howl into, let's say, a Rock Slide, and now you're doing spread damage and you're +1, and you get the idea. The last 4 Pokemon, honestly, I do I have my opinions about them. I think they're good Pokemon. I just don't know how well, if I think they match with the team very well, because I don't know. I don't feel like I would draft these Pokemon onto a sand team, but I don't think they're bad in sand. But I do, in my opinion, the first 6 are very solid. The last 4 are I don't think they're bad Pokemon. I just don't know if they fit this team. But Zachmander is correct. I am definitely a Mr. Rhyme Glazer, and I'm very biased to thinking that mon is good.
Yeah, I mean the Noivern's good for the speed tier and the Tailwind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the
I like-
All Creamy and the Slowbro Galar are kind of just like, Slowbro Galar for Trick Room, All Creamy for Decorate. You know, they have their uses, just not many.
Because I just feel like if you want to boost stats on this team, since you have the sand mode, I mean, unless you're specifically trying to boost Primarina, for example, I don't see why Houndstone can't just use Howl and Sand into Tyranitar, Scrafty, Mousehold, Metagross. Because most of these teamers, like, most of the things you want to boost are physical attackers anyway. So to me, Alcremie and Houndstone unironically take up like a similar role. But
Yeah,
granted, he doesn't have to use Houndstone though. Like for all we know, he could decorate the Houndstone, and then these last respects we're talking junk about.
yeah.
Now they really sting.
Aroma Veil is the one that prevents sleep, right? Or is
It
it
prevents Taunt, Encore.
Oh, okay.
I think
I
Sweet
believe
Veil.
Sweet
Sweet
Veil prevents sleep.
Okay, yeah.
Brandon
Aroma
would
Veil
know.
could be useful
Yeah,
if they
Brandon would
want to
know all
prevent
about Sweet Veil.
opposing like taunts and
Oh,
encores.
for sure. Sweet Veil Serena.
Yes, I remember when you played that team and you ran Sweet Veil Serena for the sleep powdering butterfly. I was like, what?
Ah, nice. Alright, so what are we thinking for this team? Were we saying B tier, somewhere around there?
I'm saying B to C. I just noticed that Prim is our main special attacker, and then Noivern, and then
That's
Brandon will be like, oh, but Tyranitar is a special attacker because Zachmander did it.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That thing has base 95 special attack versus the other. Like, bro, let me see. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pokemon on this team that hit harder than it on the special side. No, I'm not giving him that. No, I'm not. I definitely think this team is I would put it in B. I would not put it over. Actually, I'm in a rock and a hard place. I don't know if I put it over Mag's team or not, because I think this team. Okay, let's just be real. I have a higher opinion for it than y'all too. So I don't know. I feel like it. Him and Mag.
Let me go back and look at
interchangeable.
Mag's team real quick.
Yeah, let me look.
Hmm.
I think Mag has better pieces on
Mag
paper.
has a superior follow me, and they have more fake out mons.
If I had to choose a team, I'd pick Mag's team. Twisted has the Mega Metagross that carries it up for me. Like if he didn't have that Metagross and any like other round one, I'd put it in C, but that's my opinion. But
I can see that.
I think that it's definitely
Yeah.
below Mag's. I would even compare it arguably to Rick Star's team, but it's probably not as bad as Rick Star's flaws. Like I think
Yeah, I
Twisted's
think
highs
that
are a
bottom
lot
of B
lower.
for now is decent.
Yeah. Sorry,
I
Johnny
do
Games.
Because I do
Sorry,
think that
Will.
offensively and defensively, this team has a lot to offer. It's just making the pieces, mesh together.
It's gonna be tough. I think, yeah. I like the T-Tar. Like the T-Tar mode's fine, but I don't know. I don't think of it as highly as Brandon does. I think Mega T-Tar's great, and Houndstone is fine. It's solid, right? Last respects, but that's kind of all it does. And I feel like you want to bring the Noivern and the Alcremie to games over those two, but that's just my take. Because I feel like you need to bring the top 3 every week. Primarina needs to come every week, or your special attackers are meh. They're just not good.
Right.
But... And we have 7 points left, so that knocks it down for me.
Yeah. If you have more than like 3 points left, yeah, it's kind of like you're really leaving it alone on the table there.
Especially on a team I feel like needs to spend them, like on Brandon's team, for example. Like I don't like, even though he has 4 points, I don't think Brandon in particular needs to upgrade anything. But I feel like on Twisted's team, I feel like you can definitely upgrade something. Yeah, that's just my take.
All right, let's move on to the next team here, which I believe is actually going to be my own. Yeah, so Zach, why don't you take the lead here, my friend?
Okay, so he drafted Mega Fraud Raptor.
Hey, I want to have fun with it.
Okay, it's not that bad. But
New
I
toy
do
syndrome.
I do like the Grimmsnarl as a support mon. Screens, and of course you can parting shot into your own guy. It gets fake tears, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it gets a bunch of random stuff. Do you get
Yep.
charmed? Do you get charmed? No, you don't get
Scary
charmed.
face too.
Oh yeah, scary face. It gets a lot of really annoying support moves that really help Staraptor. Volcarona is a fine redirector. It's not my favorite due to the rock slide weakness, but I think it's serviceable. It's not my favorite though. I will say. I think I maybe I would have slightly preferred Clefable. I don't know. I think Volk is fine, but it is not my cup of tea, so I can't comment on it too much. Regular Swampert round 4, that feels like a reach to me. But when I
Wide
think
guard.
there were Swampert gets wide guard.
Yeah.
I
That's what I'm
literally
saying.
told you
It
this the other day.
didn't update it here, but yeah, it has it.
I still think it's a little bit of a reach, but I do respect the wide guard. I do think that there were better grounds. Like, okay, I think Krookodiles is a much better ground type. I'm going to be biased. There's a Krook and a Mega Garchomp, and you took this. But I think Swampert for the points can definitely provide the support that you need. Serena is one of my favorite mons in Champions Draft. Brandon can vouch. I think I have this in 5 different leagues. I love Serena. Queenly Majesty is such a broken ability. Being able to block Fake Out and you having it rather than an opponent when you have Grimmsnarl is always great. Alola Ninetales is great Aurora Veil for the Staraptor. You do already have a Grimmsnarl though, so you're kind of overlapping the the screens role. But it is a solid enough fairy, but you do have Grim, so it's kind of just there to me, especially for 14 points. Mega Gengar, I don't know how you got it this late. That is a crazy mon that you got late. Mega Gengar without the Mega is decent enough. I've actually seen people use it, so I can't talk too much shit. Brandon knows I'd love to talk shit about Gengar, because I think it sucks, but in the limited decks, in a lower power format, Gengar is fine. And Mega Gengar with Shadow Tag, you have like Grim to support that trapping mode, so you can definitely pull up some pair traps. Empoleon, I've only seen Mount draft it, but it is a solid water type that gets moves. It's like, alright. Electros is a solid electric type, helps you break bulky waters, which you have Serena and kind of a little Ninetales for. And then you have a Brandon specialty in Goodra. I think Grimmsnarl gets Fake Out, because I see that there's no Fake Out here.
Yeah,
so
it does have Fake Out. Yeah, also Parting Shot, but it doesn't have that either.
Okay, so you do have a Fake Out mon. I do wish that you had another one, especially with Gengar. I feel like on a Mega Gengar team, you want to have more than one Fake Out. Especially on a mon like Grimmsnarl, where it wants to have a bunch of moves and you're forcing Fake Out on it every week. That's not really ideal to me. I think that these bottom picks are like Empoleon, Electros, Goodra, and Ninetales Alola are a little bit weird. I do get why you got Empoleon, it's a Steel type, but I feel like you could have drafted some different stuff in the bottom here. Your speed tiers are pretty solid. I don't like this Volcarona to Serena, or Volcarona to Goodra gap. I don't think Goodra's that great. Maybe I'm wrong. Brandon's a Goodra Glazer, so maybe he'll shut me up. But speed gap's a little rough. Your only Trick Room on being Gengar is also rough. And your Tailwind and Volcarona is fine, and Staraptor gets it too. I will say that Staraptor is really solid because it gets Intim, non-Mega, so it can still be useful outside the Mega, and obviously Final Gambit strats are there. I think you drafted a solid team. Like, I remember looking at this team and thinking, holy crap, this team is ridiculous. But looking deeper into it, I don't think it's as ridiculous as I thought. I'm just not a fan of the Ninetales and the Goodra, but those are my main mons I don't like. But you filled out most of the types that you would want, so that's good at least.
Yeah. What do you think, Brandon?
First of all, two things. One, I can address 2 things right here, right now, because there's been 2 comments that have been made throughout the course of this video. 1, me having, some points left over, and 2, Emerald getting this late Mega Gengar. If I'm being honest with you guys, this was actually a snipe. Had he not taken this Gengar, I would have spent all of my points. But Gengar is one of those Megas that I was looking at like, wow, you're still on the board. But by this point in the draft, I already had my Mawile and my Dragonite, so I'm sitting here like, well, I'm not like gonna be like super upset if I don't get it, but it's gonna come a point where I'm going to make a pick and I'm looking at the board like, bruh, are y'all really trying to
Oh,
like
yeah,
this
that's
feels like
the same
temptation?
decision I made. I was just earlier in the draft order.
But yeah, yeah. But you know what? I'm happy though. I still got my Mawile. That's the main thing I wanted. But yeah, that Gengar, I was looking at that for a while. But I definitely think okay, I like this team for a few reasons. One, thanks to Emerald, I have found my new favorite GIF in Discord because like this GIF of like, you have the Whimsicott beside the Staraptor, and the Whimsicott, it looks like it just tells the Staraptor like just go. And next thing you know, you see this dust cloud, and whatever's in that dust cloud, I feel so bad for you because that Mega Staraptor is definitely tearing you apart, and I feel so bad. But I don't. But I'm starting with Mega Staraptor because I feel like that's the thing that I don't know why I'm singling it out. I've yet to form an opinion on it because I think it's a good mon. I just don't know if it's a round one mon, but however, I do know this is like new toy syndrome type thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of, it makes it passable for me because you know I get it. You want to really try it, and then you never know, the people after you might also have the same opinion. But I do think this team was clearly built to help support the Staraptor, and I feel like for the most part, Emerald did a pretty good job of it because like. So I'm not gonna lie, when I was doing my criteria, like you know, like the little list I did for Al, for example, I was sitting here like, where the heck is the Intimidator? Like, where is it at?
It's
And
the
then
Staraptor.
and then yeah, because Zach brought up, he was like, you know, get Intim before Intimidate, and I slapped my head real quick, like, duh, that's where it's at. Um, and we have the redirection and tailwind within like in the Volcarona, so I think it's a really good like you know, mon for roll compression in that sense because I don't think anything else gets like redirection and speed control. I could be wrong about that. And then I do like that now I do agree that I think that Ninetales and Grimmsnarl basically do the same thing, and it also doesn't help that they're weak to the exact same things outside of like what fire. So I don't think you ever bring one. Like I do feel like you like maybe we didn't need the Ninetales, maybe, but I do like the dual screen support for the Staraptor as well as the Tailwind plus, you know, redirection for Staraptor. Then the freaking Swampert, I agree with Zach. I do think it's early. If I'm being real, I feel like you could have maybe got that in like your last few picks, but I do understand wanting to get a good wide guard mon because I can attest from like when I'm doing ladder and or draft, I feel like 9 times out of 10, the thing that cooks me the most often is like spread moves.
Hmm.
So I definitely value having the wide guard support, and I respect the Swampert pick. Um, Clearly, if I wanted Gengar, I thought highly of it. I think this is a good. I think that I don't know what to think about the last 3 Mons because I'm still relatively new to VGC, even though I'm doing this draft analysis, power rankings with these nice gentlemen. So I don't know how well the last 3 can synergize with the first 7, but I do think the first 7 look pretty good together. The last 3, I'm just not going to give any opinions on because I'm ignorant. I'm ignorant. All right, but I do think the first 7 are very solid, though. I do think they're very solid.
Yeah, in defense of my Ninetales over here, I basically pretty much just drafted it in order to have a little bit in the way of like controlling the weather, to just to give some like opposition to that because Grimmsnarl doesn't have. I was thinking about getting Sableye, but I got Grimmsnarl instead, so I don't have Prankster weather. So just to kind of counter that, and if I run screens on Ninetales, and that frees up the Grim slots to run other things, and if I run screens on Grimmsnarl, then Ninetales can do other stuff. So just kind of like split up the roles a little bit there. And Empoleon has the competitive for opposing Intimidate, and also I can parting shot with Grimmsnarl onto it and instantly give it +3 special attacks. That's something cool it can do. And like Goodra is pretty much just like Goodra and Electros were basically just kind of there to round out the type chart, and Goodra has Life Dew to heal up the Staraptor. So I do wish I did it a little bit better, but you know what? I think it's a serviceable team.
It looks great. I think it's a solid team. I like the megas. I think the 2 megas you picked up were really good. I think Raptor was a reach, but again, new toy syndrome.
New toy syndrome for sure.
I will say your team is really weak to Rock Slide besides Swampert and Empoleon, so I'm very glad that you got at least Swampert for Wide Guard. I did not know it got Wide Guard, and I'm appreciating it more. I'm starting to say, okay, this mod's not bad. I understand why you got it. I actually like this team a lot. I think there are some flaws. It's definitely not my favorite, but I wish you had another fake out mon. I think that's my big point. Is I wish you drafted another fake out mon. That's like the one thing I would have done. I would have maybe tried to get Kanga on this team at some point, or just like another really solid fast fake out. So Grimmy doesn't have to do it every week, and Grimmy doesn't have to get out faked out every week.
Oh yeah, true.
But-
Yeah.
But I think to me, if I'm thinking about it, I prefer it over the B tier teams. But I'd either put it high B or low A is where I'm at, but that's my personal opinion.
What was I about to say? I had a major brain fart in the middle of my thought, and I kind of hate that I did that. But for me, if I'm being objectively honest, I would put it in A, because I do think I feel like the team just has too many good pieces to put it like in B. Because at the end of the day, I do like that he has like. Now, I don't feel like this is necessary for the people who are watching, but I do like that he has like the special mega with a really good special mega with a really good physical mega.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that's always necessary because, like, for example, if your team is like a lot of physical attackers and then both of your megas are special attackers, in that scenario, I feel like it's okay, right? But I always give it a boost when you can split up the damage. And now that you're starting to talk about it, I do appreciate the Ninetales and Grimmsnarl a tad bit more because I do think highly of Grimmsnarl offensively, but as you know, you don't always have an opportunity to use it offensively. You want to use it for support because this thing does have like what base? Where's it at? Wait, it's 120,
Base
right? Yeah,
120.
120. Yeah, 120 attack. So that's not something. I know when I have it, I usually don't like wasting that slot, that stat. But a lot of times, I feel like I am wasting it because I want to use it for screen. So you having a different way of doing that, and like you said, freeing up space, I think that's really good for the Grimmsnarl because, yeah, imagine expecting screens and this thing is just hitting you in the face, and you're like, dang, that damage did a lot. Yeah, I bet it did. But now that Emerald explained like the last three, I do see how they synergize a lot more of the team because I feel like Star Raptor definitely like, hey, you're a Star Raptor. You don't have a Sinistra, you have to improvise. And I like that the Serena is there because I'm a Glazer of Serena because I feel like Queenly Majesty is just a solid ability.
Me too. Yeah, I love just switching it in like the first turn and it's not there, and all of a sudden it's there, and I just stop the fake out.
Yes, I love that play.
So it's like yes, Grimmsnarl will have the slower fake out, but at the same time, if the fake out mon is on the field with Grimmsnarl and Serena, well, okay, you can have the faster fake out, but hey, boy, you can't click it. I can't. Type stuff.
Yeah.
So I would put this team in A. I don't want to be the one to compare these teams, so I will leave it in the hands of Mr. Zachariah Johnnismander III if he thinks
Okay.
if he that may or may not be his legal name for real, but I'll let it be your decision if you think it's above my team or not.
That's fair. I think for me, I like every single piece on Brandon's team. While on Emerald's team, I really only like the top 7. I think Empoleon makes sense, and like Electros and Gujo make sense, but they're not necessarily like pieces I like. While with Brandon's team, I feel like Ariados, like every single piece I feel like can come to a game and you have to respect it. I feel like with Emerald's team, you can kind of disregard the bottom 3 in prep
I think
because
that's
it's
fair,
like
yeah.
when one of these top 7 aren't coming, I am smiling. Okay, so that's what puts it down for me, and that's why I was thinking B. But I think it's just significantly better than these B tier teams. The flaws are less there, so I think like a below Brandon's an A for now is a great place to put it.
People are already commenting, I can't believe, of course they put their teams in the top 3.
Hey. Hey, Brandon and I are VGC draft addicts. If we are not high on the tier list, then we're doing something wrong.
Point, yeah. All right, let's check out our next team over here. We got Lazy Boy, coach of the Sleepy Laxingtons. Whose turn is it? I think, is it Brandon's or Zach's?
I think it's Brandon's turn to yell at him.
All right.
Okay. Let's get into this. Let's get into this team. Right. So we have the round 1 Mega Delphox, which I love that Pokemon. been using it in a draft, and yeah, that thing is like amazing. Then we have the King Gambit, which I think is really nice to pair with the Delphox because Delphox's biggest ops are dark types and ghost types, as we know. So King Gambit, at least you know when it comes to ghost types, none of them are touching this Delphox because you have to get through this King Gambit first, who's going to just punch you in the face. So good luck doing that. And even then, Delphox doesn't struggle into dark types. It's just taking the hits from them. You get the idea. Then we have the Sableye, the Pavilion, the Mamoswine, and the Mega Blastoids. I like seeing the Sableye because it gives you the screen support. And I like the Pavilion for the Sleep Powder as well as the. I learned that it gets Rage Powder. I mean, I don't know why I never put two and two together, but you get Sleep Powder, Rage Powder, you get Tailwind. I think this mon's a really good a really good mon for what it can provide, especially for the Mega Blastoids who, if you played on ladder, you've probably seen the Pavilion Mega Blastoid strat, so I don't really have to go too in depth on how that works. And then we have the Mamoswine. It's nice seeing a ground type. We saw a ground type with Emerald, but I'm just saying it's nice seeing ground types because I feel like at least half the teams we comment on today. There's just no ground type, right? So it's nice seeing that there. Then we have the Espathra, which I think is for 5 points was the steal of the century because we're allowing you to
the cheese
because we're allowing to baton pass stats this season, right? So
I don't know. We need to have a conversation about that. So I feel like you should be able to drive baton pass, but baton passing stats, I don't know.
I think it's a bit too late, man.
Yeah, because we've already.
All right, well we're cooked then.
Yeah, we're cooked. But hey, you know what? Hey, listen, season 2 of Champions. If we feel like it gets too out of hand, it's always season 2, right?
Exactly.
Here's the Venusaur I would have loved to see on Zach's team, which I get it. He went bankrupt and couldn't afford it because it was $13. He only had $7 to work with. That's I get it. Then we have the Floette Eternal, as well as the Mega Chestnut. If I'm telling it like it is, actually, before I even get into all that, let me just go over what I think about the team individually. I think the team starts off really well because if I use my criteria, right? If I use my criteria, so Intimidate. Am I tripping? I don't think I see Intimidate on this team at all.
There is no Intimidate, man.
No Intimidate.
So right there, it gets a deduction for me. And then when it comes to redirection, okay, we have Pavilion, and I think that might actually be it. Yeah. And if I'm being honest, I don't think that highly of Pavilion as a. Okay, if you want to be a sleep power,
it has Friend Guard.
Cool. It has Friend Guard, which is cool. But correct me if I'm wrong. Friend Guard doesn't. It weakens the partner, but you still take regular damage, right?
No, it should. I think it boosts the defense of the partner, right? Oh, yeah, but you still take regular damage, yeah.
Yeah, I meant to.
Yeah, you're only guarding your friend, not yourself.
You're guarding your friend, not yourself. But yeah, so that's. And the thing, okay, if I'm being honest, I don't like Pavilion. I like it more as a sleep powder mon than like a rage. The thing about Pavilion with rage powder, I feel like it's just weak to too much common stuff to be a good rage powder mon. Like sure, you can use it for like a turn because most Pavilions, from what I've seen, are usually gonna be focus sash anyway. But I just don't think it gets as much mileage using Rage Powder as like some of the other mons that try to redirect. So even though he has it, I don't think highly of it as a redirector. With the Fake Out support, I do like it because he has it on it's double Fake Out, right? Because you have the Sableye, the Blastoid, and the thing I like about Sableye in particular, if you're facing opposing Fake Out, it really deters your opponent from clicking that move because if you click it and then the Sableye's there, Encore, disable. You guys know the gimmick. Yeah. So I like seeing the Sableye. Tailwind, we have the Pavilion, and then in regards to modes, I do feel like he can switch it up. Like you can run like a mode for your Delphox and run a mode for the Blastoids. I don't see how Chestnut actually fits into anything if I'm being honest. Which goes into like one of the nitpicks I do have with the team. I feel like the first 7, I can see how they synergize like together. I think they synergize very well together actually. I guess Venusaur is just there to help with like. I guess it's just okay. I take my comment back. I think Venusaur looks like it's there probably to help with like the bulky waters and stuff. I just don't see how. I don't think you should have Venusaur and Chestnut. And I don't know what to think about the regular Floette. Like to me, it's just a really strong, hard-hitting fairy. But maybe I'm
Yeah, I will say
downplaying.
that this is not this is after Grace, but Lazy Boy did make some more regular transactions that won't appear till week 2. But
Mhm.
they are going to drop the Floette and the Mega Chestnut, so they have at least updated some of these mods.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
those
yeah.
like the two mons I had nitpicks about, bro. And I don't know how y'all feel. I don't think the 130. Okay, I've seen people have different opinions of this, like the speed tier from Delphox to Espathra. I know people who would be like, well, the Espathra is still decently fast, so it's kind of okay. In my opinion, I don't like that speed gap. It's almost what 30 points. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
almost 30 points.
29 points.
But I've been yapping. What do y'all think about the team?
Oh,
Hmm.
Brandon. Espathra? Sure, 105. What's its ability?
Speed boost.
Speed move.
So, hope we disregard the Espathra, right? It goes from
So,
134 to 92.
which is probably the biggest gap we've seen all day.
No, I think that there was a 50-point gap at one point.
There is something cooked. Oh, I like the Floette. I might be the only one on Team Floette. I think Floette is a great fairy type, and I feel like fairies are super strong in the format. So I'll give some respect to Floette Eternal, even though Lazy dropped in. Lazy made some team changes. The team changes. That's all I'm gonna say. I do really like what Brandon said. I like the top 7. Venusaur makes sense for bulky waters. I kind of wish instead of this Chestnut we got an electric type. And even Venusaur, like, I think Lazy was worried about mega, like, fairy types, but we have a King Gambit. We have a King Gambit. And there's only, like, 2 good fairies in Sylveon and Flood Eternal, Mega, and Mega Delphox and Gambit, like, beat both of them very well.
One thing I will say, he was very worried about being able to take hits from fairies. I tried telling him though, it doesn't matter if you kill them before they hit you, but
I wish Lazy had a better Trick Room setter because I think Trick Room with his team, like with the Gambit and or even the Blastoise, like is very solid. If we just dropped this Venusaur and this Mega Chestnut and we picked up like a solid like Trick Room on like okay, I can't really think of one, but even if we dropped like the Floette, we got like Hatterene as our fairy type. Like Hatterene could be a Trick Room and a fairy type for the team, and it provides like magic bounce. I mean, a Spathra can set up Trick Room, and I'll probably be Lazy's primary setter, but I do think another Trick Room setter of some kind would have been really
Yeah,
nice.
well, they are
Especially with
picking up Hatterene, so there's that.
oh, there you go, job. But I'll say the King Gambit is one of my favorite parts of this team, so I really hope Lazy didn't, do anything with that guy because I like it.
Yeah.
Seems interesting. You're missing an electric. I think a normal would have been nice, but it's not mandatory. It just helps with the last respects matchup. But this team is solid. The speed tiers are not it for me though. That marks it down a lot. I think our last 3 mods are okay. Venusaur and Chestnut are here to exist.
Yeah, if we're judging this team based on its current form, which I think we kind of have to ignore like the future changes. But I mean, I really like the Sableye being able to. It has both Sunny Day and Rain Dance, right? So you can kind of prep for your opponent and counter their opposing weather. And the Prankster, Disable, Encore, all that jazz is really good. Let me see. In terms of like, they have really good special attackers. Mega Delphox, Mega Blastoise, King Gambit, very solid. Physical attacker, so is Mamoswine, and Mega Chestnut too, although it's super slow. There's a lot of these speed tiers, like we got 80, 80, 78, which I know that I also had like 3 mods that were all at 60. So there's like a bit of like a crunch here. They all start to compress together and expand towards the edge.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think overall where I'm landing with this team. Again, a lot of strengths and weaknesses. I feel somewhere around B.
That's where
personally.
I'm at. I have it in between Mag and Twisted currently. I think above Twisted for sure. I could be above Mag too, but I think that I like Mag's team overall better, but I really like Lazy's like top 3 plus the Blastoise. Like I think that alone carries it, kind of like Rickstars, where the top mods carry it. But I think the
Yeah,
cons of
I
this
mean,
team
Espostra is going to be doing stuff with, like, what is it, Lumina Crash? All the...
yeah.
Well, because that lowers Spadef, right? So that could help out Mega
Yeah.
Delphox. But then you
Oh
got 2
yeah.
Psychic types on the board, so you're kind of opening yourself up to Sucker Punch.
Yeah, this team would have loved a Serena. This would have been the Serena team. If I wish Lazy prioritized that a little bit more, because I think, okay, I'm biased because every Delphox team I've drafted, I get Garchomp, I get Delphox, and I get Serena. I've reached for it before because blocking priority, like Delphox's biggest weakness is Sucker Punch. So
Yeah.
also having the Gambit's so nice. So
That is very
yeah.
nice. Kind of it discourages Intimidate, which you do not have on
Yeah.
this team.
I don't think Intim is a need in VGC, so I'm not gonna dock any points for that. But okay, now I'm looking at it a little bit more. I'm liking it a bit more. Maybe I'd put it above Mags and maybe even above Owls, but I cannot put it higher than B. That's where I'm at.
Let me go back and look at Al's team.
Yeah. I think Lazy's team is more threatening, and I
They
arguably
do have a lot more offensively potent Pokemon, I think.
I think I prefer Lazy's team. I'm gonna be honest. That's
All right,
where
top
I'm
of
at.
B it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's A tier worthy. I think there's too many issues, but I think B is perfect.
All right, you good with that, Brandon?
I am. And also, I must say, this is the reason why Al had to go round 1 Lopunny, because if he didn't go round 1 Lopunny, this is the guy who was going to take it.
Yeah, and then it Snipe Scorp at Mega Delphox, and it's just cascading snipes.
Yeah.
Because then
Just a-
Tony couldn't get Sneasler and Garchomp, and it just goes and goes and goes. Alright. Let's check out our next team here. Speak of the devil, Tony Torkoal. Is it my turn to talk? I think so.
That
I believe
sounds like
so.
Alright, so we've got one of the best mons in VGC over here. We got Prankster, Tailwind, Whimsicott himself, herself over here. We got the Athabasca Legion to hit super hard with Wave Crash and Lash of Specs. All the very top-heavy team kind of here with the Mega Gardevoir as well, sniping for Scorpion, but being able to be in Tailwind and spam Hyper Voice is always solid. And of course, Whimsicott has the Fake Tears, so you wombo combo Fake Tears the opposing Pokemon and they just die to Hyper Voice. We got Dragonite, who can act as kind of a multi-scale mon, or also Inner Focus. You know, immune to Fake Out, it's always solid. And you got your Dragon Fairy Steel completed here with Mega Excadrill with its Piercing Drill to ignore, protect. Of course, it has to be a contact move. So yeah, then we got Overquill acting as your Intimidator here. We got Rotom Heat to levitate up, being electric type. The Mega Barbaracle, I hope I'm not the only one that's a little bit confused by the Mega Barbaracle. Maybe they just wanted to use Mega Barbaracle. If we can respect the new toy syndrome, I guess. Apart from that, I mean, it's just a very physically offensive, base 140 attack mon with close combat and rock slide. Scovillain for Rage Powder. And Rampardos, 2 rock types. 1 rock type I feel like is enough, because once you get to 2 rock types, now you're introducing a lot of weaknesses, particularly ground. But maybe they just wanted to spam, what's it called? Head Smash and Trick Room or something like that. Now, if we look overall at the team, we got quite a few weaknesses here, particularly ground, like I said. A little bit of a ghost, rock. But you've got all your types that you want, although you don't have normal for opposing Last Respect, so you are mostly going to be spamming Last Respects yourself. Speed tiers 116, 103, 100, 88, 86. A very compressed speed tiers there on the 80s and 75s, and then you kind of drop it down to 58. So not very much variant. The standard deviation for these speed tiers is not very high. But you do at least have Whimsicott out there at 116. Would have liked to see a bit more of your offensive Pokemon a bit higher than just 100 and 103. But you do have probably the best Tailwind mon in the game right now. So that's going to help you out for sure. Being able to just set the Prankster Tailwind up, outside of Talonflame is the only thing you have to be worried about. But then you can just have your other Pokemon take out the opposing Tailwind Pokemon before they can even get it up, and then you're set. let me see, any other moves they need. They have Rage Powder, they have Tailwind, they have Trick Room for anti-Trick Room, they have Prankster Encore. No Fake Out though. Am I correct in saying that there's no Fake Out? That's a bit of a problem for you
There
there.
is no fake out.
That's tough. That is tough. I feel like this team has probably the highest average attack stat of any team we've seen. Like, there's so many physically offensive Pokemon on this team. I mean, Mega Excadrill, Mega Barbaracle, Overquill, Dragonite, Basculegion. Meanwhile, the special attackers is pretty much just Mega Gardevoir. You could run a special Dragonite, but you probably prefer to run physical. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of good stuff about this team. I just feel like there's several detractions, particularly like no Fake Out, Rampardos, Mega Barbaracle are kind of just there. What do you guys think?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for calling these rock type mons garbage, because I agree. I don't like them on this team at all. We're already physical head. I don't like Mega Excadrill either. I don't think it's a great mon. I think it's a fine ground type, but Mega is just fine. Luckily, he has Whimsicott for the Tailwind. I really don't like that we don't have like a good manual rain setter for Bask, but that's more of a nitpicky thing. I do really like Whimsicott, Tailwind plus Guard, but you like could have picked something else. But maybe this is me glazing Scorpion and trying to make myself look good that he shouldn't have taken it. But I do see the synergy with the Tailwind. There's just something off to me about this team. No Fake Out sucks. I feel like Fake Out's like an absolute must in VGC, and especially with a team like this where we're trying to get the Tailwind and our sweeper going. We don't want Fake Out. We want Fake Out to help
you're
that
leaving yourself susceptible to your own Whimsicott getting faked out and then them getting a Tailwind.
Yeah, I like the Bask. I like the Gardevoir. The Dragonite is cool. I like the Overquill. Like, this screams, we have a Rain Corps, but we don't have a Rain team. But
they were going to get Politoed, but they waited too long.
They waited too long. That's fair. This team, Skull Villain is Rage Powder, but it's a Skull Villain. It's fine. It's so physical heavy when I feel like we need to be more special heavy. We're way too reliant on Mega Gardevoir, in my opinion. We have no Trick Room unless we're using Mega Gardevoir Trick Room or Whimsicott Trick Room, which is just cooked. And we have Rampardos. So I feel like the last 3 picks are bad. I think Skull Villain's okay, but like, I'm gonna pretend and include it. It's bad. Rotom Heat is fine. Like, I like the top mons. I don't like Mega Excadrill. I feel like it's, how much is it? Okay, it's only 12 points. Okay. Not as bad as I thought. I thought it'd be like 16 points. Okay, Mega Drill, it's fine for the price, but I do think, personally, I'd rather have a ground type that can be scarfed. I'd rather have a Diggersby, even a Rhyperior is like a bulky ground, because I don't think Excadrill is great without sand, and if we're megaing the drill, then we don't have Sand Rush anymore. Luckily, Whims kind of saves it. This team is so reliant on Whims getting Tailwind up, and if it doesn't happen, the team isn't going to work, in my opinion. That's where I'm at.
What do you think, Brandon?
First of all, one thing I do want to address, Zach. I had to clear my throat for this one, Zach. $16 Mega Excadrill. Do you think we're monsters in the commissioners? Like, you think we're monsters, bro? We would never charge someone $16 for a Mega Excadrill, bro. Like,
why are you talking dollars?
Like, we got standards, dog. Oh, that's just a thing. That's just the thing I be doing. Like for example, Mega Mawile, it was $18. Like, something I'll say is like, oh, this mom costing me $18. You better be worth the money, because you know, I could have spent that somewhere else.
Is there another league that had a $16 Mega Excadrill?
I
think so. Yeah, I think
it was worse. I think it might have been worse.
I think whenever because you know our budget in this league is 105. Yeah. But in some of the other drafts me and Zach have been in, our budget has been 120. So as you can imagine, some of these mons are more expensive to accommodate for the higher budget.
Yeah. Maybe if Piercing Drill acted like Unseen Fist used to, then it was 100% of the power.
Yeah, that ability sucks. Fon's dog shit.
Because we know some guys who started like MB and like they started the drafts like almost as soon as Champions came out. So basically, you didn't give enough time for the meta to develop to know these mons should be this expensive. So it's like, oh, well, you know what? New toy syndrome. Put them all in 16. Call it a day type stuff. But yeah. But in regards to this team, if I'm being honest, I like half the team and then I dislike the other half. Even though this team meets a lot of my criterias, I just feel like for example, the speed control. Okay, we have Whimsicott, which I love. Like, it's kind of hard. It's very hard to have better speed control than the Whimsicott. You get Tailwind, and for those of you that don't remember this or maybe not know this thing also gets Trick Room, so you can use it to reverse Trick Room. So, excuse me. So like Gardevoir doesn't have to do it, for example, right? But I'm not the biggest fan of Scovillain being the redirect. Now I get it. This is late in the draft, so like, what are the options for real? And if we're being honest, it's not like there's six. This is a 12-man draft, so it's not like there was 12 good redirectors on the board. But you know, even though he had to work with what he had, I don't think highly of Scovillain as a redirector. And then I think like Overquill. Okay, if I'm being honest, and maybe I'm wrong about this, because y'all, hey, listen, maybe I'm sleeping. I don't think highly of Overquill as an Intimidator either. I feel like in most situations, it would probably prefer to be in rain. And I feel like Overquill, because of its typing, it doesn't offer enough. Like, sure, you can intimidate stuff, but I just personally feel like you don't offer enough defensively to where other Intimidators might not be better because of their typing. But maybe that's just me nitpicking the Overquill for some reason. I know it's only weak to one thing, but I feel like too many common things can hit it anyway. And personally, I just don't like poison types that don't resist Fairy, but that's just a nitpick. This is a nitpick. And I don't think that highly of Mega Excadrill. Like, sure, I was just talking about how it was $16. I don't think highly of it, if I'm being real. To me, it feels like a situation where, oh, the regular one was taken, so I went with this one instead. Or maybe he just really wanted the speed tier. I don't know. I feel like out of all the megas he has, which is, oh wait, it is 3. It's 3. I feel like Gardevoir is the only like real mega. I mean, Barbarical. I feel like if this was a singles draft, we would be having a different conversation about Barbarical, but this isn't singles, this is doubles. Like, I like the Whimsic. Like, I like the first 4, and then and I like Rotom Heat. I like Rotom Heat. But the other 5 Pokemon, I personally am just not big fans of. I will acknowledge, okay, you have to fill out these roles, but it's just the mon and the roles just don't move me. They just don't move me. And then the speed tiers, like you said, they're really clustered, and I've never been a big fan of that either, but you know.
No. And I will say, I mean, you mentioned Overquill's only weakness being ground, and like we said, that's one of the types that they're weak to, so that puts extra pressure on them, especially if you have like a mold breaker Pokemon, and now Rotom Heat's ability is useless, and you can continue to spam Earthquake into him.
Because like if you fight, like for example, if he fights the other Excadrill, and let's say, you know, Twisted is feeling daring that week and he wants to run Mold Breaker Choice Scarf, half the team is literally just weak to that Earthquake. And I would even say half the team probably just gets one-shotted straight up, if we're being honest. So, yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Twisted does not have Excadrill, sir.
I think it's Roller, yeah.
It's Roller.
Twisted has Houndstone.
You know what? Hey, listen, guys. I'm pretty sure we're like almost 2 hours in. You have to bear with me. My brain works in 15 minutes.
We're almost there, buddy. At least we don't have 16 mons to deal with, or 16 teams.
Somebody was saying, God darn it.
What do we think in terms of ranking this team? I'm thinking like C or B.
I'm in C. I would argue we move Twisted down to C and put Tony below him. But I'm biased to saying I like this team more, but I think this team has way more flaws than Twisted's. So
y'all are being generous. I would put this team at
Wait.
Who do we currently have in C? Just for a point.
We only have Rickstar.
Rickstar right now.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like this team and Rickstar's team is very close to being interchangeable.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking both of them in C for now.
Yeah, I like C. I feel like this team is closer to Twisted's team to me. That's why I think I'd put Twisted in C. But I'm also a little bit biased because I don't like.
Let me go back.
Lots of things.
Twisted.
I don't like a lot of things on Twisted's team, so I'm obviously biased. And I know Twisted's gonna call me out, so
And while he's
I mean,
and
at
while
least Twisted has good fake out mon, solid follow me.
Yeah,
I feel like their
that's true.
pieces overall are a lot better and they have some decent.
No, you're right.
synergy.
No, Mega Metagross. We can't be
Yeah.
putting this in C tier. We can't be
Yeah.
doing all. We can't be doing that.
and I
Alright.
want to take the time to say, right, so as you guys can see, we have yet to do a D tier team, and I'm pointing this
Oh,
out because I
Rollers
want
in
you
D
to
tier.
This is
understand.
absolute bullshit,
Like-
brother.
Wait, we have a D tier team?
Yeah,
got Rollers
Roller,
in-
brother.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
What
we
do you
put
mean,
Rollers in
really?
D.
I thought we put it in C. Oh,
We put
crap,
it in
I'm
D.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Brandon,
That's
we're
why I
not
do
hitting out
apologize.
donations, brother.
Bro, I'm sorry, bro. You know what? I'm sorry. I was gonna make the comment. You know what? The comment's still in voice. Like, it doesn't even matter anymore. Never mind.
At least Tony has 0 points left. At least he used all his
You know,
points.
good job, Tony. You should put you above Brandon for that one. Brandon has points.
Bro, I still remember there was like, okay, now this is just a tangent, but I still remember one time me and Zach was doing a singles draft, right? Now this is before me and Zach really knew each other, and I remember I had 14 points left at the end of the draft, and bro instantly put my team at the bottom of the power rankings just to go on. And we went on a generational run that season because I was sitting here like, oh, you think my team's bottom of the league? All right, I'm gonna show every last one of y'all.
Yeah. Listen, Zach, you don't
Roll
know.
down the league.
Brandon's power was forged in the BHDL, all right?
Yeah, see, I didn't know ball back then because Brandon never invited me. So
Well, I have to get to know. Bro, I have to get to know you first, man. I didn't know you. And then we start playing all the time, and then it's like, oh dang, if I'm gonna play this guy in every goddamn league, I might as well get to know him a little bit, because why not?
Real, man. All right. Let's check out. I believe this is the owner of BHDL himself. We've got Scorpion, Zachmander. Why don't you start us off
all
over there?
right, so we're gonna put him in D tier because he's the owner of the league. Okay. Okay, in all seriousness, he picked up the W duo of Garchomp and Sneasler. Absolutely crazy they both made it this far. I remember DMing him because he was upset he got the Delphox sniped. I said, dude, just get the Garchomp and the Sneasler. They're right there.
They're right there, dude. Everybody got megas.
And they both somehow made it to him. So he has the best duo, in my opinion, that anyone has drafted so far, in terms of like the best top 2 picks. Mega Aerodactyl making it here is also crazy. I know 1 pick away from Mega Guardy. I would have loved Mega Guardy with this team, but I think Mega Aerodactyl is a great replacement. Milotic is one of the best bulky waters. This was a Pokemon I actually wanted for my team, so I was kind of sad to see it sniped. But I was looking at a bunch of alternatives at that point, so it's kind of an optional mon. But very good pickup. Punishing Intim for Chomp and Sneasler. This top 4 is beautiful. Gardevoir is a solid fairy type. I'm not sure what other fairy options were on the board at the time, but Gardevoir is a pretty solid fairy. I do like Trace. And Gardevoir gets like a really solid support move pull. So you can definitely use this as like a support mon. It is also anti-Trick Room. So I do like the Gardevoir. I think Trace will be really cool. Scizor is a very solid steal. Gives you some priority on the team as well, which is always nice. And I really like it with Milotic and Garchomp and Arrow because you do not want to bring a fire type into this team. So Scizor looks very nice. Now, for me, where the team kind of starts to fall off is kind of these last 4 Pokemon where I'm like, okay, they're cool, but am I ever bringing them? But I will say, Mega Gyarados is very solid water, but you already have Milotic, so I may have wanted to see a different secondary Mega, maybe. I don't know if the Gengar was available, but Gengar would have been really strong. I'm trying to see on the board what Megas were available. Okay, I guess the Megas weren't that stellar. I thought there would have been like a crazier Mega on the board. As I say, I feel like you want like a more super offensive Mega, but I do really like Gyarados as a defensive piece. Of course, supporting that Scizor. Heliolisk is an amazing electric and normal type. Dry Skin is super nice. It gets a lot of niche support options. Mega Chandelure, I think this mod sucks, but I think this is like the one team where I'd say, wait, this really fits on this team. And am I reading that it was 2 points? Correctly?
2 points.
Okay. That's crazy. Okay. That's okay. Never. I take back what I said. This mod does not suck for 2 points. If this mod sucks for 2
Steal.
points, that is a steal. And then he has a Meganium on the team. I don't know why we have a Meganium.
I think it's just
a
for
grass
Pollen
type.
Puff because I was also like, why is Meganium here? But I think he just got it to heal and
Yeah,
knock
that makes
off.
sense. this would have been a good 2 cannon team, but it's all right. I don't want to upset Brandon that much. But
Never say those words on the BHDL channel. Let's not forget where you're at. You're on the BHDL channel. Never say those words again, bro.
hey, Dodgeman's not legal in this format. I have all the power.
But Toxapex is. Toxapex
Hey.
is legal.
Hey, but no one's drafted it yet.
Mm.
Mixed Star had thought about drafting Toxapex.
Yeah, that'd be a cool mod for his team. I do love the top 4. Top 6. I absolutely love it. I think Mega Gyarados is solid. My brain feels like you could have done something better here, but that might just be me coping because this team is absolutely disgusting.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I must have done something wrong with the points here because okay, somehow I got it wrong. Heliolisk is 5 points and Mega Chandelure is 6. So something went wrong. Mega Gyarados is 11. I don't know what I was doing over here.
No, I don't know how this math works out then.
Yeah, because it all worked out to still even out to 0.
I'm like, what?
I'm tripping.
see.
I'm sorry, Scorp.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, my Lodic was only 10. That's where you got the points wrong.
Yeah, I don't know what I was doing.
And even Mega Arrow is 16. You were looking at some other Doc Brother. I don't know what you were looking at.
I must have gotten interrupted, and then I was like, oh, I'm done here. And then I just went back to it.
I will say, my one
I think I literally...
Yeah.
Oh, because the top 2 were still 18, so these are just the same points as Tony's team.
Oh! Well, to be fair, both of these were 18 points, so...
Yeah.
Oh, but you... Oh, I see what you did. You priced them the same. Okay. I see you.
I just forgot to go back and put them in there. I saw the 2 18s. I was like, oh, we're good, yeah.
Okay, our trick room options are kind of meh. I will say, I feel like Mega Chandelure is going to have to come to more games than you wanted to because it is your main special attacker. I kind of wish we had a better special attacker. This is where I wish we got a better special Mega and maybe we prioritize that over Guard and Scizor. But I think Mega Chandelure is decent, but I feel like...
I mean, it's going to hit really hard. I mean...
It is going to hit really hard. I'm going to be honest. I don't like this mod, but I feel like a Mega Raichu Y would have been like actually really solid on this team as like a really annoying special attacker Lightning Rod support for the team, for the Arrow, and the Milo, but that might just be me. But I think this team is very solid. I feel like you checked off all the boxes. Besides the fact you don't really have a Trick Room Abuser and you don't really have the best anti-Trick Room.
There's no redirection either.
No redirection either. I'm not gonna be too harsh on that, but yeah, this is definitely a bit rough. But I don't think redirection's a must, especially with how limited they are in this format. So I'm not gonna be.
It's not a must, but it helps.
It definitely helps, but
they do have. If we consider redirection, like I mean, ally switch is there on the Helios. I don't know why he has ally switch, but we'll give it to you.
Yeah, no, this team is really solid. You checked up all the boxes. My only thing is I don't like the Mega Gyarados. You're only Dark type, but that's fine. That's not a big deal. I feel like you will be megging. My biggest issue is the lack of special power. I feel like you're really reliant on the Chandelure and Gardevoir. And Guard is very solid, but you're really relying on the Chandelure, I feel like, to do that big damage that you want. But I think that's like my only literal flaw with this team is like the lack of special firepower. That's it for me.
I mean, I would consider Mega Chandelure kind of a Chiyu in a sense. I mean, I feel like it hits really hard, but I guess I feel like Guard and Mega Chandelure. I mean, I feel like it hits hard enough. I mean, you've got Milotic, which can get a potential competitive boost and hit decently hard too. I mean. I think it's decent enough. Obviously, you would wish you have maybe like one more special attacker with like plus 120 special attack, but I think it's serviceable.
Yeah, you're right.
What do you think, Brandon?
I think for this to be the coach who literally, and I do mean literally, got sniped to hell and back, and even beyond. You put together a pretty good team, all things considered, because I remember there was a point, bro, I still remember when the Mega Gardevoir got sniped, and then like his 2 backups also get sniped, because I think they got sniped before I think it went literally Delphox, Gardevoir, and there was like one other thing he wanted after the Gardevoir, and all 3 of them got taken, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, I remember what it was now, Metagross, Delphox, Gardevoir, I believe.
Yeah.
and it's like, dang, you just lost all those mons. But um, I still think, and even then, there were still other times where he got like super duper sniped. But I do feel like, despite the snipes, he did still put together a pretty good team, all things considered. Because like we've mentioned before in this video today, a lot of these roles are limited, so still be able to pick out what you need and get it when you need is pretty nice. I agree with Zach that Sneasler and Garchomp are like if you can't get a good Mega round 1 into round 2, you might as well get those two if they're still there. I'm actually shocked Sneasler made it that far. Garchomp, I'm kind of shocked, but then I'm kind of not, because I
Yeah, it
feel
was
like
basically
Garchomp,
up to whether Fornabil was going to get Sneasler or not.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, like Garchomp and Sneasler are like I'm shocked he got that, but you know what? I'm happy for him because I know this is his first draft, which is why I'm gonna try to not be too harsh, but I'm gonna still try to look at stuff. So in regards to like this stuff, using my criterias, I see the intimidate on the Gyarados. I actually think highly of Gyarados when it's not missing moves, of course. But Zach would know about that more than some people. Like in regards to my
Mhm.
experiences with Mega Gyarados, but I think it's a good mon. Like having Intimidate before you Mega Evolve, and then having Mold Breaker afterwards. I feel like that's a. I feel like I would prefer another ability on it, but I do think it's pretty solid. Especially if you can get some Dragon Dances out. Like that mon is like very scary, and then you have it paired with some offensive threats like Sneasler and Garchomp. But something y'all mentioned that I also agree with is kind of like a nitpick to me as well, is the lack of special firepower, because it's really just the it's the Gardevoir, the Mega Chandelure, and if we're being generous, the Milotic. And I say generous because if we're being real, it's not like he's going to run like max special attacking Milo. He's going to run a defensive Milo most of the time. And yes, the competitive boost could come into play, but we also have to acknowledge that that's going to be situational. Like there's going to be games where you might not get it. Heck, I've even seen someone recently, and I kid you not, I wish I could remember the video, like the content creator who made this, but I kid you not, I swear I've seen someone recently play a Milo, and they had a freaking Incineroar. They just ran Blaze. They said, screw that. I'm not giving you the +2 boost. I'm going to just run Blaze. And their opponent's whole game plan was around getting that competitive boost, so when they didn't get it, it really rattled them. Now, Scorpion isn't a one-dimensional builder like that, but you get the
Yeah.
idea. I do wish there was more special firepower, because I would even say Gardevoir, like the issue with Gardevoir, yes, you hit hard, but you're also relatively frail, and if
I
we're
think
being
I can
honest,
kind of see what you guys are getting
look,
at here because
yeah,
like the top three are all physical, right? And then you have Milotic. And then Gardevoir and Mega Chandelure, it's like how often are they going to be coming to the games? And not only
yeah.
that, they're
Yeah.
weak to Ghost, which is a very spammable move. And they're both, I mean, take a lot from like Sucker Punch and stuff like that. So I can kind of see where this argument might be coming from.
No, I
Yeah.
And I do think like if I'm being real, I feel like he would probably mega the Gyarados and the Chandelure even more often than the. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Arrow is one of those bonds you don't need to mega it unless you really want to. So it does give more room for Gyarados and Chandelure, but it's just the where I struggle with the team, right? Is if I had this team, I feel like I would struggle trying to pick which mega I want to use, and I don't think he I do feel like Gyarados and Aerodactyl are good enough on their own that you don't need to mega them all the time. I have a different opinion of Chandelure in doubles, at least. I feel like you have to mega that thing for you to get the mileage you want out of it. Um but like I said earlier though, I do think considering all the snipes, he still put together a very solid team. But of course, it's not as um solid as it could have been.
Yeah. I think that he did a really good job drafting the top core, and the bottom it really falls off. I think he messed up on the Gardevoir round, where he needed to get a bigger special hitter, because you have the physical core, you can get a special core. I think your team is too reliant on Mega Chandelure coming to games, and I don't think Mega Chandelure is that great, especially for not 2 points anymore. So now I can't glaze it. I think it's
Six.
I think it's fine. It's going to be strong, and I think Scorpion will pilot it well. But on paper and how I'm looking at it, I'm not pleased. I think Gyarados is good, but when Gyarados is I don't know. Gyarados is so weak to electric, and you don't have really like you only have Garchomp really for electrics. Like besides that, Thunderbolt. We're gonna Thunderbolt
Yeah.
you. This is where I think that a Mega Raichu Y angle would have been good here because you needed like a strong special guy, and I think pre-Mega the Lightning Rod and the Fake Out would have been really nice. As well, Sneasler being your only Fake Out is fine. Having another option opens up Sneasler so much because Sneasler can fit coaching now. It can fit Faint.
Yep.
It can fit a lot of its like nice tools that it normally can't because it's usually locked into the Fake Out close combat Dire Claw. And then you kind of only have one move slot left. So I kind of like this would have been to me an S tier team, but I think it's missing way too much where I'm docking it down, and I honestly think it's below, like it's comparable to Emerald's team. That's where I'm at with it. I think the Mons are really solid, but there's just a bit missing for me.
Yeah. They also don't have any really way of dealing with opposing weather.
Yeah,
And-
weather, yeah.
And another nitpick that I have, and maybe I don't know, y'all might not view it as big of a nitpick as I would, right? But before I get into this, something I do want to say. Like I said, I do think Aerodactyl is a good mon on its own. So in theory, you could just set Tailwind and then just let Mega Chandelure partner up with one of his other strong physical attackers, and you just really just wreck whatever's in front of you. But this other nitpick that I just realized I had, once again, maybe y'all don't think as much of it, but I just know when I've drafted Garchomp, I really liked having multiple mons on the team that were immune to ground. That way I could run Earthquake more freely, because I don't like running Stomping Tantrum on Garchomp. I actually hate that. Maybe he can get away with it because this is MB, so Life Orb is allowed, for example, but that might be I'll call that a nitpick. I don't think that's like a big deal. Maybe y'all think it is. Maybe y'all agree with me, maybe y'all don't, but I just don't like Garchomp not being able to click Earthquake freely.
I agree with you.
I mean, if
I
you
think-
pair it with like a lead arrow plus Garchomp, I mean, it's not you can spam,
Okay,
and then you have a Gyarados too before it megas, so I think there's options.
I'll give
He
Scorpion
can
some
plan
slack.
it.
I'll give Scorpion some slack. Gardevoir gets telepathy. So
Oh, true, telepathy.
So that's
Okay.
I like that as a pick. Like I think Gardevoir
Yeah.
was great, but I do think that I think he needed to prioritize more special breaking earlier, and now he's stuck with the Mega Chandelure. And it's a good mon, it's strong, but that's it. It's strong. People are gonna prep around Mega Chandelure because it is his only special breaking power. So people are gonna definitely bring mons dedicated to stopping it. And
Yeah, and 90
That's-
is, I mean, 90 is faster than 80, but it's still not that fast in this economy.
yeah, and Scarfers are gonna be a problem for this team too. Like, sure, you can get your Tailwind with your arrow, but it's no Whims or Talonflame that guarantee it right away. And
Yeah,
without
you
Focus
can't run
Sash,
Sash on it.
yeah, without Sash on arrow, it's a lot worse. So I do think that brings the team down for me, and that's where I like compare it to Emerald's team, where I love the top like 5, and then it kind of just falls off for me a lot more than even Emerald's like weirder lower tier picks. Where I don't know, that might just be me though.
Because Mega Arrow has always been in a weird place for me. Because when I see a Pokemon with tough claws, I want to be offensive with you. But when I've actually used Aerodactyl in doubles, it's usually for support. So,
Tailwind wide guard.
So it's like, I feel like Arrow's in a weird spot here because you want to set Tailwind to support other things, but then you also want to be offensive. But
Also, its most spammable Rock Slide move doesn't even get boosted by Tough Claws
really? Oh, dang,
Yeah,
bro.
no,
because
no.
it has to
Mega-
make contact.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough. I'm not gonna lie. I just assumed all rock moves would be considered contact moves, but okay, that's
Dude,
that
how
was the
do
wrong way of thinking. Bro, in my mind, I'm throwing a rock at you. It's making physical.
Right,
but
you're
I get it.
throwing a rock at you. You're not clawing them
Yeah,
directly
I don't want
with
to
your
get
body.
static, brother. I don't want to get
So what
static
the
from
heck
Rock
is-
Slide.
All I'm gonna say is, because I don't want us to go on a whole tangent about it. All I'm gonna say is, well, using that logic, why the heck is Grass not a goddamn contact move then? But
That's some bullshit, bro. No, that's some bullshit. I got parried by
agree.
I got parried.
Well,
Clicking
listen,
Grass Knot.
in my head canon, I think that Grass Knot is the Pokemon extending out a part of itself to make a grass little thing that the person trips over, so that grass that trips them over is part of their body.
That's good.
It's like the grass Pokemon itself made a root in the ground that tripped them.
I'm not gonna
I don't know
lie.
how other
Even
non-grass type Pokemon do that, like Greninja, but Pokemon logic, man.
I will say, even the anime kind of presents it that way. Like the Pokemon is basically raising a root out of the ground, and then it's just
Right,
tying it
yes.
into a knot. But still, bro, that's crazy.
Listen, man, it's Pokemon. You can't think too hard about it, bro. All right, so it seemed like we were thinking somewhere in the A territory for
I'm
the L.E.A.F
thinking
Agents
below
over
your.
here.
I think I'm below your team. I think it's better than the B tier teams enough. I think the top 3 carries it, but or top 4. My apologies, carries it, but I can't put it above your team because I think your team is way more fundamentally solid. Like there's just some things missing for me on Scorpion's team. Like that offense is just that special offense is a
All
big
right,
concern.
we're definitely not beating the biased allegations here on this one, chat.
No, we
I,
definitely aren't.
I, I, I definitely think it should also be like in A and probably below it because I do like Emerald's team more. And
Me
yeah,
too.
we're not beating the bias allegations, but at the same time, I hope that the people who have looked at VGC before can look at these teams and be like, you know what, I kind of see what they're getting at though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. That's my copium. That's my copium.
Let me take a look at their speed tiers. They do have I'm just not sure because they got the 150 base speed Aerodactyl, right, the fastest mon, but it's like how often are they going to be megging the Aerodactyl versus the
Probably
Chandler?
not.
the
They
Gyarados?
shouldn't. I feel like they're
So
very forced to bag in the Shandy every week, and I hate it.
but at least they have um
They
Sweet
have a really
Tea's
good
are
fake out mon. I mean,
yeah.
yeah, they have a lot of solid options.
No, they have great like Sneasel being your only fake out, so super fine. I don't want to act like it's not. Their team's very good. Like Scorpion's team is really, really good.
Even though he keeps
Debate us in the
reminding us,
comments, folks.
even though he keeps reminding us, I don't know what to think about my team. It's my first bro. You drafted a solid team, bro.
Brother, you have a Garchomp and Caesar. You can't
Yeah,
go
and
too wrong
this
with
is
that.
after all the snipes too. So this man really had to go through hell to be able to draft this team.
Yeah.
All right, that only leaves us one more team over here. We've got Fornabil, coach of the Gen 8 nuclear tree or something like that.
Huh?
Brother has a tree as his logo.
That's pretty
Brandon,
cool.
why don't you start us off?
All right, Mr. Fornable. So we have the round 1 Mega Skull villain. Before I even get into the rest of this team, I have to acknowledge I do think that is extremely early, but you know what? I think this is like his first time doing a VGC draft, so you know what? He just wanted to use it. That's all I'm saying. But let's get into the rest of the team. So we have this lovely Ferriggia draft that was sniped off your boy. You know what? Zachmander
Oh,
was
you
right.
wanted it, wow.
I wanted, yeah, because I like I definitely wanted it more than Oranguru, just because it's like I like the instruct. Like to me, running the instruct strat is just honestly no different to me than just running like helping hand with Farigiraf. Like
Yeah.
instruct's gonna do more damage because technically it's a 100% boost
Yes.
instead of a 50% boost from helping hand. But
Yep.
I really value being able to shut down not even priority. It's really just the fake out because when you think about it, Mawile, outside of Mach Punch, you kind of resist every priority move in the game. It's just the fake out that's really annoying. But you know, Oranguru got some tricks for that. I'll get into that stuff later. But yeah, I definitely wanted for Farigiraf, and I also really wanted this Archaeodon on my team. But Archaeodon was one of those mons that were like, if I get it, I get it, and if I don't, it's not a big deal because I still have Dragonite and Mawile to fill in that Dragon and Steel type. So I was, you know, but yeah, he has an Archaeodon, the Politoed. If I'm being honest, I thought he was going to be the one to take the Mega Gangschnar, but he didn't. He took the Mega Crabominable instead. Then we have the Runarikus, who I don't know why the heck this thing looks like this, but I do notice what it looks like when it's like, you know, in its rock form, I guess. We have the Araquanid, which I think is really solid in rain. We have the Staraptor, the Mega Ampharos, and the Annihilate, because that's how Lucario man pronounces it, Annihilate. So that's what we're
Is this
calling
where
him
you're getting
now.
all these pronunciations from?
Well, it's a combination of Lucario man, Wolfie, and Captain Beanard, because as
Oh,
we know,
I
Captain
thought for sure
Beanard
you
has
had to
some,
have some Wolfie in there. Beanard too makes
yeah,
sense.
but also Beanard, because Captain Beanard definitely be like I was telling Zach the other day about how he pronounces Ogie Dogie Oogie Doogie for some reason,
Oh my
and
God.
to this day I think he's just doing it to troll, but you never know. But in regards to what I think about this team, so let's, you know, obviously it's a rain team and it has a trick room mode. I almost called it hard Trick Room, but then it's like, okay, we have to
It
annihilate
does
with
look
the
pretty
Star
hard. I
Raptor.
mean, look at this average speed stat of 63.
Like, dude, the last time I played a hard Trick Room mode team, like the highest Mon speed was 81 because it was a melodic, and I just remember thinking to myself, I don't think I would want to run this every week, but bro, bro has like, and okay, I typically would prefer to see multiple modes on a team. But I almost feel like the hard trick room isn't like the worst thing in the world, right? Because he has hard trick room with rain. I would like to see a way for you to split that up, but I do like that the trick room and the rain modes can work together because Politoed and Archaeodon aren't the fastest things in the world. Now, granted, in trick room, Archaeodon is going to probably be like in the middle of the turn order type thing normally because of that 85 85 speed. But I do think Crab in Trick Room is really good. I think Raquinid with Rain in Trick Room is really good. I've used Mega Ampharos I had a Trick Room mode with Ampharos in a league I was in, and Ampharos, usually if I could set it up, it was really good. And then he has multiple ways to get the Trick Room up because he has the Farigiraf, and I'm going to assume if Kappa Grigas can Trick Room, Runa Rigas, you better be able to Trick Room too, sir. And if
He's
you
there,
can't, we
he's
have
there, yeah.
Definitely
Copagrigus
can, brother.
and
but
yeah,
but I say
Runarigus
well.
and Furgraf can both trick room here.
So I like that he has the double. Like he has more. To me, if you're gonna run Trick Room, have more than one way to run it, and I do feel like he has it on two solid mons. Um, Especially since for Rigoraph, it just to me it offers a lot. It gives you Trick Room. It gives you like no one can hit you with priority. The mon is bulky enough in its own right that it's kind of hard to deny the Trick Room because I don't think there's a single Pokemon in this entire game that can knock that thing out in one hit. Not to mention it's always freaking citrus berries, so yeah, you're not killing it to begin with. And I think it's going to support the team really well. Now I do think it kind of hard carries the support because I mean when I look at the rest of the team, I mean, okay, we have Politoed who can be supportive, but I feel like you kind of want to be offensive on that thing as well. Mega Villain. If I'm being honest, I don't like it as a mega Pokemon. I feel like whenever I play it, to me it just looks like people are just trying to fish for burns because you know you can. And I think like for me personally, I prefer megas that can hit hard. Like I want my megas to be like my Terracatnus. Like you're the thing here to clean the game up, which is why I do like Crabominable and Ampharos because I feel like they hit hard enough that if you need something dead, they can probably get it done. I just don't like the Scovillain. I like the rain mode though. I like the trick room. I do wish like it wasn't hard trick room. Like he had like other options he could try to do. Because like for example, I think Starter gets Tailwind, but do you really
It
want to run
does, yeah.
Tailwind?
It
But do
does.
you want to? But do you want to do that? I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think I'm at this point. I'm just starting to yap. So I'm gonna let you guys give y'all's opinions on it.
What do you think, Zach?
Let's go villain round one at reach. I do disagree with Brandon's point though. I do think that Ismon is a very solid mega, and while yes, you want your megas to hit hard on a team with many good offensive pieces. I'm not saying this team. I'm just saying in general that Mega Villain is actually a very solid mega. Like on Scorpion's team, for example. This is where I would have loved to see a Mega Villain on Scorpion's team because Scorpion's team he has such solid like offensive mons that like you can use your mega slot to support your Garchomp and Sneasel, for example. But on this team, I feel like you're kind of lacking like a reason to want your mega to be so not passive per se, but hard support. I think it's fine and it works, but with this team, you're gonna want to mega the crab 90% of the time or the Ampharos 90% of the time. While it's hard trick room, it's nice. You have Tailwind with Raptors. You could have a Tailwind mode. I feel like this team doesn't really fit in a Tailwind mode like at all, and it's so hard trick room that it's going to be very easy to prep for. Brandon and I are in a league with this guy who's fast spawn as a Milotic, and at least I found lining, and prepping a team for that was really easy, making an easy lead every set, and I was just able to win off that because my lead was so dominant. And I feel like this team is going to struggle with the same problems. I do like the Rain Core with the Politoed, the Arch, and the Araquanid, but I feel like this team has, I don't know, it feels super weak to me. I don't know what it is. Without the Mega Crab or the Ampharos, the team is super underpowered. And with Mega Villain being your round one, I just don't think you drafted around Mega Villain. You just drafted it for some reason. I don't know why you draft. I don't understand why you drafted this mod round 1. That's cooked. That's like worse than freaking Rollers round 6 Altaria. This is cooked. Like at least Altaria kind of fit the team. This just is here.
I think he's just basically there to help Frigoraph get off Trick Room easier.
Yeah,
Rage Powder plus
then
Trick Room turn 1.
Then you're not making your Crab or your Ampharos, who's your main Trick Room abuser.
True.
I don't know.
Unless they're
This
just
team,
not gonna mega it, and then I don't know what they're doing.
I don't like that Raptor's your fastest mon either. I wish you had something faster. I think the speed tiers look good, but at the end of the day, your megas are cheap megas that are fine, and your Scovillain is your quote unquote main mega. Well, it's not your main mega, but you drafted it round 1. I hope you want to mega it. It's just not it. I don't vibe with it at all. This is a D tier for me.
Yeah, if we take a look at the points, you can see that they didn't even start out drafting that many high points. I mean, their highest point Pokemon at first was our Chaladon. That was 3 rounds in. And then it kind of just went down from there. And so then at the end, they had a bunch of points, and then they just put it all on Annihilate, and they still had 3 left over. So I think that they're definitely a bit underpowered here at the end, and they're only being kind of boosted in their average base stat total because they're. I kind of noticed here that all at the chart you can have the base stat total of the team at the bottom. I think Scorpion actually had the highest, like 555 or something like that, but they average from like the low 500s up to like 555. So it's like somewhere in the middle. But I mean, their megas over here are Mega Ampharos and Mega Crab, who are forced to rely on Trick Room. So if you don't get the Trick Room off, then it's kind of like, well, now you're screwed. And if you mega the Scovillain, and now they're not going to have the power. So then your hardest hitters otherwise are what, like Archaladon and Annihilate and Staraptor. When you're probably going to be bringing Mega Scovillain, Frigoraph, Archaladon, Politoed almost every fight. So that it just really kind of makes it tough to decide what you want to do here. So yeah, and not to mention also there's no fairy type. There's 3 fairy weaknesses and only 1 fairy resist, so you're cooked when it comes to fairies. There's no dark type, no poison type, just a lot of weaknesses in general here, unfortunately.
Yeah. No vision. I don't see the vision. This feels like.
The vision is clearly Trick Room. It's just that's the vision. I can see it. I just don't know if it's gonna go off very well. I mean, he has Frigoraph and plus Rage Powder redirection. I think you're gonna get the Trick Room up. I think you're just not going to be able to do as much in Trick Room as you'd want to.
You're not making that Scovillain. And then it's like, well, then you're not making the Scovillain, which then means.
And that was your round 1 pick, right? Mega Scovillain. You may as well have just drafted regular Scovillain and put more points into another Mega.
I agree.
Or pick something else round 1.
Yeah, and the physical power. It's Raptor. And
like if you really wanted some really good redirection, I mean, you had like Clefable and Mousehold and stuff like that. Other options.
And those are, like, honestly, Mousehold is an amazing round 2. I think Mousehold's my favorite redirection mon because of Friend Guard and the bunch of freaking utility it gets. It's amazing. And even with, like, Fareg, like, even Clefable just offers you, like, Life 2 support, Follow Me, and a fairy type.
Yeah.
Like, you got your priorities all wrong when drafting, and that's my take. No Fake Out either, by the way.
Oh, no Fake Out too? That's just the salt in the wound right there, man. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm putting this below Roller's team in my tier list.
Yeah, I've got it there too. What do you think, Brandon?
You know what? I'm in the same boat. Definitely think this is probably is below Rollers, right? Because I feel like the team. I can almost see the vision, but I do feel like it's very hard to pull off. But you know what? This is why we do power rankings, because if you have the skill to prove us wrong, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, prove us wrong, buddy.
That's facts. That's facts.
Yeah, let me just go back here and make sure that Zachmander should still be an S tier. I think the only major detraction I had from Zachmander's team was the lack of redirection. But they do have Ally Switch that could potentially be a form of redirection. I think
I
that
like it.
overall, Zach's team just doesn't have that many weaknesses, which kind of puts it ahead of a lot of the other teams. So I think it's fine there. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have any other changes that we would want to make? I feel like this was pretty solid for us.
I think the tier
All
list
right.
looks good. Majority in B tier is good. I think that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I'd love to have a nice Gaussian distribution.
Yeah, I like this. The distribution is perfect. 1 in S, 3 in A, 4 in B, and then 2 in the lower tiers. I think that's perfect.
And I just want everyone to remember, um, if your team did not get where you thought it was going to be, just keep in mind we have to rank these teams based on. If I were to take this team and give it to just anyone,
Anyone, yeah.
realistically, how do I think they would fare with it? Because I'm pretty sure even Zach would attest, and I could say the same thing for Zach and same thing for Emerald. There have been teams that we've done well with that, yeah, you give this team to somebody else, they might not even come halfway as close, and that's not
Mhm.
to make us sound good. It's just like there's certain mons that we're comfortable with, and we're cool with using that other people like it might be their cup of tea type thing. So just remember, guys, if your team's not where you want it to be, you can prove us wrong because player skill is not. We can't account for that here.
Yep.
Yeah. Drop a comment if you think we were biased and unfair for the
Yeah.
interaction.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be like, wow, the people doing the PRs are in the top 3.
It's a very common trend here in BHDL. It's happened many times. Particularly, I think the season 2 power rankings, all three of us, me, Scorp, and Beanart, all put ourselves in S. To be fair, I think we had good teams, but just one of those things.
I think I was the only commissioner that didn't make S because I ended up in B tier that season. Albeit I understand why, but I definitely ended up in B tier.
That is crazy because you went to the finals with that team. Though to be fair, you did follow our directions. We recommended you get Cresselia, and you did, and that was the star of the show.
Yeah.
Terra
Wow,
Cresselia, man.
Brandon. Brandon, you're an A tier. I feel like every time I do a power rankings with Brandon, or no, not with Brandon, but like every time I'm doing a power rankings and I'm doing Brandon's team, or every time I watch a power rankings and they're in Brandon's team, Brandon's always in C tier or B tier. So
Which would be
Brandon,
so funny to me.
I'm proud of you, Brandon. You got A tier this time.
Because usually, like for example, I just find it funny that at the moment I'm in two different drafts where I'm the defending champion, but in both of the power rankings from the previous season, in STA and in BHDL, I was almost last in both of these rankings, and I'm just sitting here like it lights a fire in me, bro. If I'm being honest, it lights a fire in me. Like, oh, y'all think my team is this, that, and the third. All right, let's go. Let's lock in. Let's lock in.
That's fair.
Yeah, fair enough. To be honest, if I
Alright.
look back, I don't know what I was smoking whenever I put your. I should have defended your team more because man, when I had to face it, I was like, oh man, this ogre pawn is gonna kill me.
Yeah, screw that Pokemon.
And I ended up
I
getting
almost
gifted.
had it though. I almost had it. I made it real close.
For
All right.
sure.
But yeah,
I was like,
folks,
out.
I think that pretty much said everything that needs to be said. The week 1 starts on Monday. Looking forward to seeing all these battles. If I'm up to it, I might do some watch throughs of the weeks, and we'll see how everybody does. All right. Peace out, everybody.
We'll
Bye.
holler at you. Hopefully y'all enjoyed.